the fuck is this? I'm gonna stop watching it.
It's brilliant. It really is.
God's sake.
It's probably more attuned for the Irish audience, to be honest.
No, home for summer. I'm coming back for a week at the start of July and then coming back in September again. I can still hear myself twice and I feel like I'm going to have nightmares about it. Sorry, the audio broke up. What'd you say? Am I joking?
The wettest of friends. And Declan Rice has got a new trim.
No.
So, a very strong start to the tournament this year. Now, joining me in the studio today is Matthew Robinson, and joining us from the Republic of Ireland is Niamh McDermott, who's going to be covering the sort of social media reaction for this game. Obviously, you know, being England against Scotland, we are going to see a lot of action online. Now, obviously, we are missing our usual third presenter today, Sam, but we hope to get him back in the studio for England's final group game against the Czech Republic. But for now, we're here to cover this. It's a must-win game for both teams. Obviously, we're going to get onto that in a little bit. But match day one, Matt, obviously we've had to wait a year for this tournament to be played. Do you think it's lived up to expectations so far?
Yeah, well, I think obviously this tournament, it's been, 5 years in the making, an extra year, and due to the lack of sport that we've seen during COVID times as well, I think the anticipation for this competition, people have really been looking forward to it. It's a bit sort of the biggest sort of competition we've had after COVID times, and I think so far from what I've seen in match day one, like the quality of the football has really been up there, and so far looking at the results and the performance from the England side that played. I think England could do all right this tournament.
Yeah, in terms of teams that have surprised you then, which ones have sort of caught you by surprise the most so far?
Well, I think Italy have looked particularly strong. I think maybe people didn't quite have them coming in as favourites to this competition. Obviously, they've got an experienced side. And you know they always have a history of doing well in big competitions, don't they? They've won the World Cup before, and you know I think they always kind of under the pressure they do well. But I don't think people coming into this tournament on paper had them down as favourites. But I think they've done well. They're obviously already through to the round of 16.
As are Belgium.
Belgium as well. And I think, to be honest with you, credit where credit's due to Scotland. I thought in that first game they played really well, and I thought they played better than I was personally expecting them to play, and I think they put up a good fight. And I think for them the results just didn't quite go their way.
Yeah, I'd have to say in terms of my teams that have caught me by surprise, I think Wales have started very strongly.
Yeah.
I think they had a very, very solid draw to start off. I thought Kiefer Moore, he's had 20-plus goals in the Championship this season. I think that makes a big difference. I think for the last Euros, of course, with the greatest respects, they had Hal Robson-Kanu, who wasn't really, getting bucket loads of goals. This time they do have that. And of course, with the added quality of Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale, we saw in the game against Turkey previously, it makes a huge difference having two players of that sort of quality. Yeah. I think also Ukraine. I think going forward, Ukraine have been a big surprise. I think Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk, they're two players. Yaremchuk, of course, being a big target man. He's been linked with plenty of Premier League clubs this summer. 4 goals and 2 assists between them, so 2 goals each and an assist each. Of course, Yarmolenko got a really good goal against Holland as well. So they've certainly got some decent players. But yeah, I think there's certainly been a few shocks so far, which is why the Euros is so great. Of course, it has been, I wouldn't say marred, but it has been tarnished a little bit. Maybe not tarnished, but obviously quite a shocking thing that happened in the Denmark-Finland game, which was, of course, I don't know if anyone saw, but Christian Eriksen had to go off after suffering a cardiac arrest, and obviously the game had to be postponed. Now, of course, after the game, Peter Schmeichel came out and said the Danish players were given no choice by UEFA to play the game. However, there were other reports from inside the Danish squad saying that they actually called Christian Eriksen, and Eriksen told them to play despite what had happened.
Yeah.
But with the comments from UEFA, and there was also discussions about TV times and stuff like that as well. What do you make of that? Do you think that, despite all the Super League talk and UEFA coming out as the good guys, do you think that this just shows that there are no real good guys in football when it comes to these big organisations?
I mean, I think, well, firstly, let's start off by obviously just, extending our thoughts to Christian Eriksen and his family. Obviously, it was a horrific thing to see, and to see that happen, obviously, is not something you think is going to happen, like in a match that you were watching, really. And I just think, obviously there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of things that have been said, but you know, obviously it's a difficult situation for UEFA to be in, but I think they could have perhaps shown a little bit more compassion. I believe from what there's conflicting reports from, you know, Christian Eriksen told them to play on, told them to do this, but then there was also, UEFA said you can either restart the game now or you can come back and play it at 12 o'clock tomorrow or sometime like that early in the morning. Basically saying the game has to be played. There's no way we can, you know, call it a draw or whatever, or something that might have, you know, maybe they could have come to an agreement with the teams, because I think playing after that was something that's, you know, how can you expect players to do that? But then also, how can you expect them to come back the next day, having probably not slept very well? And I think, you know, there could have been a better solution than what actually happened.
Yeah. Neve, you as well, of course. Let's bring you in to start you off. What do you make of the comments that were made post-match there?
And the football fans to watch on the screen. No one knew what was happening. You think of his family watching it as well, and it was a really scary moment for everyone, never mind his actual teammates. But an hour ago, it was released that he's discharged from hospital and went and visited his teammates, and that just proves that football is more than a sport. I mean, going on all social media, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everyone's talking about how football is more than just a game, and I think this week in particular has just really proved that.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is one of those situations where, you know, there was quite a bit of controversy when it came to, of course, the you know, the camera crew, and the fact that they were still showing the images. You know, and you yourself, you know, do production and directing and things like that. You know, when it comes to what you would have done in that situation, I imagine that straight away you would have cut to either the studio or a long distance camera or something like that. Yeah,
I mean, I can empathise with. Obviously, with competitions of this size, it's not as simple as, you know, especially if we look at it from a UK point of view, the BBC were showing the match, and it's not like it's a BBC crew that's working on that match. It's the host broadcaster who is basically supplying the pictures to the BBC or ITV or whoever. So it's not quite as simple as just cut, you know, the BBC say, oh, we don't want to show that, we'll cut back. Obviously, the studio, they're not all just going to be in the studio waiting. Obviously, they're preparing for coming back for half time, because it was about 42 minutes in or something. So it's not. Obviously, I feel like at the start they didn't quite understand the severity of the situation. Obviously, it wasn't good to see, but I think there certainly was a point where they should have cut to something else, or just cut to fans,
the fans or something.
You know, they have the helicopter up, don't they? The helicam. They could have cut to that, or just a shot of the stadium, really. I think some of the shots were unnecessary, but obviously I can understand that it's a tense situation. You know, they probably didn't understand the severity realistically at the time. So
yeah, exactly. Neve, let's get a final word from you then on this situation. What do you think needs to be done maybe going forward? Do you think that this helps bring to the forefront conversations that we've previously had about defibrillators being available at grassroots football? Do you think that sort of signifies those sort of debates at the moment?
Oh, 100%. Defibrillators, I mean, you know, more than anything, save lives on a daily basis. And whether it's in a local football team, the Euros, whatever it is, defibrillators are saving lives, and they're going to continue to do so. And I think there should always be at least a couple on standby, because, I mean, football is not an easy sport. Their fitness levels may be good, but as you know, anyone can have a heart attack. I could have a heart attack right now, and my nearest defibrillator is a yard away. So it's 100% agree that defibrillators should always be on the hand, easy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so obviously, you know, an interesting talking point and something that I'm sure will come back up in you know, the weeks to come. Let's go back to the teams then. We'll quickly touch on this, and then we'll move on to the lineups and the, you know, the preview for the game, because we're coming up to around 15 minutes until kick-off. Yeah. Which teams do you think are the favourites to win this tournament? Obviously, we've seen plenty of talent on show. I know you touched on Italy earlier, but you know, if we're focusing more on who do you think can go all the way, who are the teams that stand out to you?
I think when you look at it on paper, you've got to fancy France. They've on paper they've got such a strong side, a lot of experience amongst the ranks. You know, they won the World Cup. They've got a lot of experience. You know, players like Mbappe, Kante. Like, it's the experience that they've got there, I think, is going to be crucial for them. And I think on paper, coming in, I know a lot of the bookies fancy them as well. They're the favourites going into the competition. I think they're going to be hard to beat. Obviously, England as well, looking strong, but it's just we do have a lot of young players. Have we quite got that? You know, are we going to quite play to the France standard? Obviously, we looked really good in our first game, but we didn't wipe the floor. We didn't it wasn't 4-0, 3-0, you know. So I think it's going to be an interesting one to see, but my money personally would be on France or otherwise like a Portugal as well. They've looked quite good. Obviously, Ronaldo just took over as, was it the highest goal scorer in Euros history?
Yeah, so he is now the highest goal scorer in Euros history, men's history, I should say.
Yeah.
So I think Portugal do have a very good chance. I mean, I've put it as a France-Portugal final. In my little UEFA Euro predictor. So, you know, it'll be an interesting one to see if that goes ahead. I think my pick would probably be France as well.
Yeah.
So much depth in their squad, and with the addition of Karim Benzema as well, the forward line just gets even better. And I think very well balanced in defence. The midfield, they've got a system which suits Paul Pogba, which I think if you want to win games, you've got to be able to unlock him, and he always plays so much better with a holding midfielder. He's got that in N'Golo Kante. He's probably the world's best.
Yeah.
Holding midfielder or central midfielder.
And he wins this. He's won everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got title winning experience. He's got international title winning experience, and he's just so good at getting France up on the transition as well. Whenever he gets the ball back, France get up the pitch quickly, and it allows Paul Pogba to roam forward, which is useful because we saw, of course, the goal against Germany. His switch of play to Hernandez, who then got the ball in for Hummels to score, does make a massive difference. So, yeah, France definitely have to win it. I think Portugal are certainly up there as well. Their squad is the same as France, really. No, not top-heavy. They've got a very good mix all across the pitch. And, of course, there is quite a few Wolves players in there as well. So that never does any harm. Neve, let's come to you then quickly before we move on to the match preview. Who would you sort of have as your sort of favourites to win the tournament?
Now, at the start, I was saying Scotland. I don't want to get abused now, but I don't know. I was still going for England, and now back home I'm going to get abused for that as well. But I think they have a great team. I mean, our Irish betting agent, Paddy Power, is giving Irish football 10k for every score that England scores. And they're actually upping it to 20k if Declan Rice scores, calling it a backstabbing bonus. So, we want to get money for Ireland as well at the same time.
Brilliant.
Tom does not believe that it's coming home, but deep in my heart, I think to be honest,
I think it's ridiculous that people even think that England are going to win. Honestly, I don't understand. If we win this group, we've got to face 3 of the best teams in this tournament in France, Portugal, or Germany. If we even come up against Germany, I think we'll struggle. France, I think we would lose the midfield battle there. I think their midfield is just so physical, it's so quick, and it's so technically gifted. I think it's far superior to ours. And if you lose a midfield battle in a competition of this level, then I think that we will get dominated. I also think that France have got a lot more flexibility in their squad. But look, listen, England have got a good side. They've got players that can win games. They've got Champions League winners in their side. But I just think that Didier Deschamps is a World Cup winning coach. He's got experience at this level for many years. Gareth Southgate, I don't think quite has that. So we'll have to wait and see. Right, let's go on to the preview for this game then, because obviously we've got about 10 minutes till kick-off, and we do actually want to talk about England versus Scotland. So, of course, England won their first game against Croatia, albeit an ageing Croatia side, and maybe not the powerhouses that they were when they got to the World Cup final. But, of course, Scotland lost 2-0 to the Czech Republic. I know you mentioned that they did play better than we thought we would. I agree.
I think the XG was... heavily skewed in Scotland's favour.
First half, they were really impressive, actually, putting them under a lot of pressure. I thought Lyndon Dykes, who I think will be a threat in this game, by the way, I thought he was really good, offers a physical presence, offers a good outlet for Che Adams to play off. So I certainly think that's worth pointing out. I also think that, this is a must-win for both teams. Scotland have got excellent fans. As much as, you know, some England
We've
fans
seen some
won't
clips
want to
obviously
admit
today,
it.
I'm sure, as
but
well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the atmosphere at Hampden Park was unbelievable.
It felt like I thought when I was watching it, and it kicked off, and it felt like almost like it was a final or a semi-final.
It felt like a sellout game.
It felt like it was.
Considering there was like half capacity, if that,
Yeah.
in there. Very impressive. And I think that the travelling fans are going to definitely make a difference for them. Of course, England have got more fans, but I've been to Wembley quite a few times, and it's hard to get an atmosphere in there. So it is one of those, really. It's tough. Obviously, 22,500 crowd. Scotland, I think, are taking 3,000. But I
very
would,
vocal ones.
They are a very, very vocal 3,000.
Yeah.
The ones that have made the trip will be the most passionate
yeah.
fans. So it's going to be a really good atmosphere. Personally, I'm very excited to see it. Now, let's look at the lineups then. So England have gone with a 4 at the back, right? And
yeah, they've gone with a 4 at the back. They've got Luke Shaw, they've got Tyrone Mings, Stones, and James. Obviously,
Rice and Phillips in the holding midfield positions again. I really like the 4-2-3-1, to be honest. I think it suits us a little bit better than 4-3-3. I think having 3 players in behind a main striker rather than having the wide options means that the team tends to be a little bit more
we
compact.
saw that really work quite nicely with Phil Foden. I think in the last game, I think he was able to make these kind of wide plays, and he was able to get through quite a lot. And then I think as well, having Sterling in the middle, and he was able to use his pace, and he was able to get through. And obviously that's how we saw the goal as well. And obviously Calvin Phillips had an absolutely phenomenal game in the opening fixture. And obviously it was the assist for the goal. And I think he played out of his skin. I think not many people were expecting him to play well, but I don't think people thought he would be the star player of that squad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Scotland have gone with a 5 at the back, of course, with more progressive fullbacks, you would say, with Andy Robertson and James Forrest in there. What do you make of this? Because obviously England, you know, they do tend to struggle against teams that defend with maybe a lower block. So do you think that that's going to potentially be an issue?
I think possibly. I think we've got to be solid at the back. Obviously, I think in the last game we saw. Who was it? Was it Tyrone Mings played really well in the centre? I think a lot of people were actually saying, you know, they didn't think he was very good. But I thought personally, he played quite well, and I thought he did his job as he needed to be. But I think we've got to kind of have that we've got to press in this game. I think they're going to sit. I think Scotland are going to sit off.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be relying. I think we need Kane to have a good game as well. He didn't really perform that well in the opening fixture. And I think it would be good to see him. I think it'd be good to see him a bit more on form.
Yeah, no. The problem is with Kane, when he doesn't score, I think people sort of get onto him a little bit.
Yeah.
But what he does do, I think, really well is create space for the other players. I mean, he dragged at least 2 Croatia defenders with him for Calvin Phillips to play the pass through to Sterling.
So that might have contributed, I guess, as well. Maybe they didn't kind of mark Calvin Phillips as much as some of the other players, and that kind of gave him the space and the opportunity, really.
Yeah. Niamh, let's come to you then. Based on the lineups that you've seen, where do you think England can win this game?
I think it's going to be a tough match, to be honest. And Scotland are going to put up a fight. I mean, looking at the lineup, I think England's going to win. And I don't like saying that to my Celtic neighbours here to Scotland, but I think England could bring this home with this match. But Scotland are going to put up a fight. Scotland's lineup are brilliant. I mean, they've been playing great, and it's not going to be an easy match tonight.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've got what 7 minutes until kick-off, so let's have a look at Scotland's lineup as well. Obviously, Tom, you're probably I'm not a massive. I don't know the Scotland lineup in too much depth, so you might be the best person to take a look at this one. But if we have a look here
Yeah, let's have a look
at the Scotland lineup.
Yeah, so it's interesting that they've got Kieran Tierney at left centre half. I think he has played there a few times for Arsenal.
I think that's going to be good. I think that's going to work well for them.
Yeah, they've definitely got a lot more pace down the left-hand side, which is obviously where Foden is going to be playing. Of course, Foden has played well against Liverpool this season, and he knows Andy Robertson.
Yeah.
You know, he's played against him several times, and Kieran Tierney as well. I think it's interesting that they've essentially got two left-backs in those positions. Although, having said that, Kieran Tierney, of course, has played centre-half a couple of times for Scotland and Arsenal. Grant Hanley, experienced, of course, got promoted with Norwich this season. So he's back in the Premier League. Struggled, to be honest, last time. Again, I think he's a solid Championship defender, but I don't think he's really Premier League level. That's somewhere that I think England could definitely get in behind. That sort of Scotland's right-hand channel definitely is a little bit lacklustre.
Do you reckon we try a halfway line goal again, like we saw
maybe
against Scotland
if David Marshall hasn't learnt his lesson
about ending up somewhere near the halfway line?
I mean, I think the thing is, because Kane is going to drop back, that could potentially occupy the midfielders a bit more and allow Foden and Sterling to get in behind. I think Hendry, again, a decent defender, but James Forrest, very attacking player. I can see him getting caught maybe a little bit. I think Scotland will either sit early and come out of the blocks late, or vice versa. I think that if they put England under pressure early, they could see the game go in their favour.
I think whoever gets, I think if Scotland get the first goal, then it's going to be tricky. I think if Scotland get that first goal, they get the fans behind them, they get that pressure. Then obviously that I think that's gonna. But I think if England get that early goal, or I think that's gonna put the pressure on Scotland, and I think possibly might see England wipe the floor. Whereas I think if Scotland get that opening goal, I think we're going to see a good close game.
Yeah, I think what does maybe not concern me, but I think is quite dangerous, is that front two for Scotland of Lyndon Dykes and Che Adams. I do think that's a good combination, because you've got Lyndon Dykes, who is of course the more physical option, but he can put himself about, get onto the centre halves. I think John Stones at points has struggled sometimes aerially. I think Mings is more adept to that. But having Che Adams play off him as well, who is a more pacier option, I think is definitely a very decent front two for Scotland. I think they could cause us problems. And of course a midfield three as well. We only have two, and both of those are sitting. So I do think Scotland, you can maybe expect them to have a bit more of the ball in the middle of the park, but I think England will be better sort of going forward, maybe on the counter-attack. It's going to be an interesting one. Obviously,
we're just seeing the anthems.
Yeah, teams doing
the
national anthems at the moment, as we're talking.
About 2 minutes away from kick-off here.
Yeah, and it's good to see fans back in the stadium, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. And I think it's certainly watching the first England game and the Scotland game, the atmosphere was incredible. So I think this is going to be a good match. And I think again, if Scotland get an opening goal, I think we're going to be in for a bit of a
squeaky bum time, yeah. I certainly agree. I think Scotland will be really up for this one.
I think so. I mean, look at the fans here we're seeing.
This means a lot to both teams. There's a lot of historical sort of, bad blood with the two sides, of course. And UK sides never really tend to, get along too well, especially with football. You always want to get one over. It's a little bit like a local derby, isn't it, of internationals?
It is.
So I definitely think that this is going to be a much tougher game than people think for England. I think Scotland have got a lot of heart. The players that they have might not be as talented, but they want to play.
Yeah.
There's a lot of passion there. That's not to say that the England team don't, but I think sometimes with the teams, the quote unquote smaller nations. I know Scotland not necessarily a smaller nation. They've had some decent teams and good players in the past, but I think sometimes there is a lot more passion there. This England squad, I think, is the first time I've really seen an England squad with the amount of community around it.
Yeah,
I think
it feels like we've got that squad togetherness, doesn't it? It feels
yeah,
like we've got
I
that
think
real,
with previous England teams, with the John Terrys and Rio Ferdinand, Paul Scholes, they've said in interviews, Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard, they've said in interviews since they've retired that they didn't get on well. Like they because they were so involved in those club rivalries and derbies that they just didn't click when it came to the dressing room stuff. And I think whilst some of the aggressiveness has gone from club derbies, I think that will help England when it comes to the international stage, mainly because I think the teams and the players that they have now are far more friendly with each other. A lot of them are just friends, and it is like a lot of them have grown up in academies together. Played in the England under 17s, 20s, 21s
and kind of
tournaments
moved up
together.
through the system together.
Exactly.
And that's what it feels like.
I think that is one of the reasons why I would say Southgate was a good shout for the England manager, because he has.
I think he's done a great job. I think he's really changed the sort of atmosphere and the feel of that. It was almost like that kind of like cursed England manager role, wasn't it?
It's a poison chalice, isn't it?
It was. It was like if you get the job and it doesn't go very well for you, and every tournament it was just the fans weren't. Whereas I feel like the World Cup, like the fans really, we felt like we had that potential, and that's what he kind of promised. He said, we're building here. Don't expect us to win this, but we're building, and I think we've come to this tournament stronger. And he's still saying, we're building. This might not be, obviously there's still a lot of young players in the side, so this tournament under the belt, and then come the World Cup in Qatar, it's. I think we're looking good there. If we continue the way we're going, as we're just seeing. Roughly about 30 seconds to kick off here.
So have we got any? Are we going to have anyone that's brave enough to do match predictions?
Well, go on. Let's hear your thoughts, Tom.
I am going to go with actually 2-1 to England. I think
Scotland get a goal.
Yeah, I think Scotland do get a goal. I don't trust this England team to get a clean sheet. They very much, they could get a clean sheet, but I just think Scotland will have that moment where they do put England on edge, but I do feel like I'm confident enough for England to get the job done.
And obviously, we see there it's raining. Do you think that's gonna play a part in this?
Nah, both of the, I think both.
Scotland and England.
I think both of these countries are used to playing in the rain. Neve, before the game starts, what sort of match reaction, match predictions have you seen rolling around on the social so far?
It's a lot of mix on Twitter, especially. I think it's looking like it's going to be even. My predictions are 0-0. And just as you mentioned, the rain, Piers Morgan has tweeted, the harder it rains in London and the colder it gets, the better Scotland's chances tonight. It looks like a heat wave for them. So that's on that front anyways. There's plenty of abuse going around, plenty of banter. Everyone has their dinner and their food's ready when the match starts and should be kicking off.
Yeah, fantastic to see both teams taking the knee as well. I know that there was a little bit of controversy. I think Scotland said that they weren't going to do that for this tournament. England actually, I think, remain the only team to do that. I think take the knee this tournament
for the whole thing. Scotland they said they were going to do it
for this game.
Yeah, in solidarity. That's what they've done. As already after 10 seconds, someone's already rolling around on the floor.
Yeah,
I don't
Luke
know
Shaw.
what's gone wrong with him.
I've been impressed with
He's meant to be a
Luke
defender.
Shaw.
What's he doing?
Well, obviously, our last watch-along that we did was the Manchester United City game.
He's holding his head and he's had a tiny little knee in his hip.
It's one of those, really.
Do you know what I really hate as well is when they get tripped over and they fall on the ball and they grab it before the free kick's even awarded.
There have been
and
some
now?
players that have been booked for handball and stuff like that.
Honestly, it's an absolute joke.
Yeah, and obviously, last time we did this, we did the City, we did the Manchester derby, of course.
Yeah.
And Luke Shaw did score a goal in that game, so this is our second chance to get a look at him. Yeah. So he has had an impressive season, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Well, I to be fair, at the start of the season, I thought Manchester United were going to do quite well, and obviously, there were runners up. Obviously, Manchester City just outclassed them, as we see Scotland.
That three in midfield is going to be dangerous, I think, because we've only got two holding, and I think that flat three is going to cause some issues. I think, especially with the players that they've got in there, they've got Scott McTominay, who is, and John McGinn, who tend to be, two box-to-box midfielders, high energy. I think that could cause England a few problems. But having said that, Calvin Phillips again starts again today. He was superb against Croatia.
He was fantastic, wasn't he? It was great. I mean, obviously. As I said before, I don't think people came into it thinking he was going to be like one of the key players. I don't think that they thought he was going to be one of the key players in that game.
Yeah.
And obviously he's absolutely played out of his skin. He was fantastic, and I think he just had that space. You know, maybe he wasn't being marked as much as some of the other players were, and he just had that space, and he was able to create those chances, which were really crucial for us. And we saw that Foden shot after a couple of minutes as well in the opening 10 minutes, which was off the post, was it? Or was it just wide?
Hit off the inside of the post. I think it took a slight deflection as well. So yeah, it is one of those.
We love
proper
that.
shoulder to shoulder barge there from Calvin
I feel like
Phillips.
Calvin Phillips he's the type of player who gets booked quite a lot.
Yeah,
He's got a slightly aggressive style.
I've been impressed
which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, you've got to have.
Turn it into rugby. That's it.
You've got to have those sort of nasty players in midfield, haven't you?
Yeah, he's from Leeds. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Saying that as someone from Leeds.
He's had an impressive season with Leeds, actually. You know, obviously they have been. You know, they've had a bit of stick for their media coverage, obviously, because they've been sort of seen as the media darlings. But he's one of the players that has stood out in that side, that has, you know, benefited a lot from Marcelo Bielsa's tactics.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how Scotland start this game off, to be honest. And they've already got sort of midway inside the England half a few times, a few minutes in.
I'm a bit nervous watching this. I can't. I'll be.
Oh, it's a good play, that.
Oh,
it's
no,
a good ball
you are
in,
joking me!
And it's deflected away.
Oh my God!
Che Adams.
Oh,
Che Adams.
I need to remember I'm on the broadcast here.
Che Adams does have a tendency to find pockets of space in the box very well, and he's done it again there. Some really nice one-touch play, nice overlapping run. Stays onside.
Yeah, he's onside.
Good ball into the
and
box.
They thought it was coming there, back post, didn't they? But no.
I think that is just curling away from Pickford there, and it's Stones who has got the ball away. Really, really decent block. Let's look at that for England. Scotland again, though, positive start. Positive start to the game.
Yeah. So going back to Southgate. What do you think have been the key things that he's done? Obviously, he's brought that, but how has he actually implemented that? How has he actually brought that kind of?
Well, I think because he's worked with these players before in the youth groups, you know, it has helped in terms of, you know, finding a sort of a chemistry between the players. I think also, you know, like I said before, the fact that, you know, they have seen a lot of playing experience together, that, you know, it does help when you want a team for an international tournament. You know, you don't want them to still be carrying those rivalries around. So yeah, it is a tough one. I think overall, you know, he has done a good job, which is what a lot of people have said. And I also think that, you know, I do think that he has a lack of experience. But I think overall, I think England could get to another semi-final, but they are going to have to beat a very good team in the round of 16, which is a tall order, really.
Yeah.
Harry Kane, he's going to be winning a lot of those free kicks. We've just seen him go down. It is a foul by John McGinn, to be fair.
Go down easy, pull a face like you're in severe pain. Easy free kick.
It's a good chance for England, this. But I do think Scotland have got a good height when it comes to set pieces. England have got very good set piece takers. Interesting, obviously, they didn't take Ward-Prowse for that, because Ward-Prowse obviously did play very well in a couple of defenders.
Grealish to most foul player.
Yeah.
You know. And then let's see what happens here.
Foden and Mount stood over it.
Who do you reckon's taking this?
I don't know. I think Mount, his body position. Yeah, it is Mount, and he's swung it in, and it's flicked on.
I mean, that was awful.
Straight through to the goalkeeper. Yeah, nothing really doing there. Declan Rice with the flick on there.
Declan Rice. Paddy Power won't be spending that 20,000 yet.
Yeah, not sure. Ah, man, close game so far. It is one of those, really, where we've got to be careful.
We do. What are your thoughts on Phil Foden's hairstyle? Obviously, obviously I know a lot of people have been comparing it to that
one of those.
Gaza hairstyle in '96.
He is trying to really sort of recreate that Gaza look, isn't he? I mean, to be honest, it was one of those weird things where the press coverage of it was all positive, and we've seen a lot of sort of, you know, things where you'll get other players like Paul Pogba gets like.
I think we've seen this a lot.
Stars putting his hair and stuff, and people are already, you know, moaning about him getting haircuts and stuff. And I don't know, it didn't really sit right with me. I know, you know, we try not to bring issues into sort of everything, you know, trying to bring issues into other things. But you know, that was the thing that I think struck a lot of people. It was like, well, you know, he was getting positive press coverage for doing something funky with his hair.
I think it's a different. It's different. It feels different to how we've often come into big tournaments. The press coverage has always been quite critical of England. It's always been quite critical of England, and never really. It's hard to. We've never really had that positive reception from the press and from the public. Whereas I feel like going into this tournament, it's a lot more positive. The coverage, everything is a lot more together. And I think, as the public, I think people are behind them a lot more. And I think people really do think it is coming home.
I don't know. I think people are very confident, which is fair enough. You've got to believe, you've got to be positive. There's no point going into a tournament negative. I'm just a naturally negative person. I'm used to watching, you know, England and Wolves, who aren't two teams that, you know, sort of underperform most of the time. But yeah, it's one of those really where they do have a very good squad. It's just about getting them to work, and you know, we never seem to be able to do that. But I think another quarter-final, semi-final would be respectable, considering the seeding for our side of the tree, if you will. I think that a quarter-final or a semi-final would be very respectable, because that means that we would have beaten one of France, Portugal or Germany, which I think would be a fantastic result. I think if we do beat one of those teams, we certainly could be in the running for the tournament. You know, if we beat a big team like that, there's no reason why England can't win the tournament. And I think that's probably the biggest question so far.
Yeah, so coming up to 10 minutes here, a couple of stats. One shot for each team, 68% possession to England. Obviously, it's not too much time has elapsed yet. 4 fouls from Scotland though, so you know we're seeing quite a scrappy game already.
It's gonna be though. It's got to be a scrappy game, hasn't it? Proper British affair. Well, England are
look at that back five.
Getting forward here. Reece James, nice little ball into Foden. I do like Reece James. He's a good combination really of some of the fullbacks we've got. He's good defensively, good going forward. Here's Phil Foden. Nice little run. Mount. Oh, just deflected out wide for a corner. Right, whilst we're taking that corner, Neve, let's come to you real quickly. What do you think of the game so far, and what has the reaction been online?
There is a lot of reaction on Twitter here, and it's all about the kneeling at the start. Fans are saying now whoever's won, the fact that they both kneeled was a victory alone. And they're saying Henry Winter is saying that those who are booing is immediately drowned out by all those that are cheering and applauding. So it's been positive, but a lot on the kneeling so far on Twitter here.
Yeah, it's good to see people cheering that, to be fair. It's a good chance from the corner off the post. England hit the woodwork. The first big chance of the game.
I missed that.
Goes to England. Really good header from the set piece. I have to say, England have looked okay from set pieces so far. What a chance that was. Scotland have got a player down in the box. It's gone out for a throw-in.
Yeah, they've kicked it out there.
John Stones. John Stones.
Of all people.
With a big header. He scored a couple of goals for City this season. He's got to score. I don't know. I think he's got to score there. It's a free header.
You see there, you see Kane coming in, and the player follows him, and it leaves John Stones in a lot of space.
Free header, 10 yards out. You've got to score that.
And that's the effect of Kane. You see running in.
That's a huge chance.
Him.
No one's challenging him there. You've got to score that. That's a huge, huge chance for England. Poor John. He's had a good season for Manchester City. Of course, he has been partnered up with Ruben Dias for the majority of the campaign. He was seeing the majority of the plaudits. You know, there has been questions as to whether Stones can be as effective without someone as good as Dias next to him. Of course, we have seen in previous seasons that he has struggled, and Sterling has won possession back here. Good play from Sterling. Is he going to cut back? He's played it across, and it's another chance. Mason Mount coming in late. I tell you what, the late runs into the box are causing us problems at the moment. Well, causing Scotland problems at the moment. Really good play from Sterling as well. Good play to get him back into the box.
I'm not very good at watching football.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm probably not the best person to be sat here.
Well, you've got to have your natural reactions.
We have.
You've got to have your natural reactions.
Yeah, it's one of those. Thanks very much, Gallery. Just telling me I'm the best person to have sat here. So, and Megs, that is unbelievable. And he's just not able to. Yeah, I slapped the post too. Should have scored that.
Poor Mason. He's licking his lips. He wants this. He really wants this. He's either that or he's thinking about his half-time Dixie's chicken. Did you ever have those chicken places in your local area that had like the really weird names?
Just what, like the local Bossman?
Yeah, like I had a chicken place at my college in West Brom, and it was called
College in West Brom.
It was called myfavouritechicken.com.
Oh.
Which is like one very presumptuous and two a terrible name because
a poor shot on target.
Interesting name. I mean,
Are we sponsored by them?
No,
Are we allowed
but I was just saying you don't see many shops with .com in their name. Do you know what I mean? Imagine if IKEA was called furniture.com.
And that is that's the level of critical analysis you can come to expect.
Well, you've got to have general conversation in there. So watch
TV.
along. You know, you got to have some. You can't constantly be analysing the tactics of the game. You've got to mix it up.
No.
Game's close so far, though. It's definitely going to be a close one from the majority of the game, I would imagine.
So let's just, after this first 15 minutes, how do you reflect on your prediction and how you thought the game was going to go?
I mean,
do you think it's played how you thought it would?
It's going how I expected, to be honest. I expected it to be a close game. And I expected it to be a tight affair, which is what we've had. Let's go to Niami for a sec. Neve, sorry. I said. We should cover this as well I said Niami in the pre-show tour because I had someone in my high school who had the same name, and for 4 years I was convinced that it was pronounced Niami, and I was then told that it was pronounced Neve. So that is why I've made that mistake.
Miami or something. Lots on Twitter here now about snacks as well. What is your go-to snacks? All I see on Instagram is these delicious burgers. But guys, what's your go-to match snacks?
Yeah. So I'm just having some stats that have just come into me here. Both. I'm so confused. I've lost. Can you hear? What was the question? I
don't know. The gallery keep messing with us, and we basically can't.
Feels like GB News in here.
Yeah, honestly, we're hearing a lot of laughter backstage. Right, it's very distracting.
That's you told.
So, but yeah, no, I think that certainly so far. In terms of match stats, it's very even at the moment. Well, I think England is starting to probably have the majority of the chances.
I've just been told I had match stats, which is why I went to the stats in front of me. Apparently, we're talking about what food we would eat during a game, which
is very, very. Oh, Foden's in here.
Oh, he's put it wide. He's put it wide.
How have you missed that?
Unbelievable.
Oh,
he's offside
anyway. Thank God.
Oh.
Oh,
sorry. So we'll go back. We'll go back to Neve now. Now we've got the correct information. Match snacks. What would you have if you could have anything in front of you right now, Tom? Tom's not listening to me.
Unbelievable. I'm just trying to think of what my match snacks would be. My favourite chicken.
Takeaway.
My favourite.
Going back to the chicken shop. So takeaway. What would you go for? What would be your go-to? Pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, because Domino's you get 50% off, right? So you get decent pizza for like a pretty decent price. You know? And most of the time it's overpriced. Obviously, it's like 20 quid for a pizza, but if you get it half price for a tenner, then it's pretty respectable.
Quality analysis that you can come to expect on the show.
You've got to go with value for money. Domino's is value for money if it's 50% off, but if it's not 50% off, then it's not value for money, to be honest.
So, just from what I've got in front of me, England's possession is going heavily down the right-hand side. 50% of the time, we're going down the right, whereas compared to only 20% on the left. So that's Phil Foden's impact on the right-hand side. Whereas Scotland only going down the middle 10% of the time, using both wings quite effectively. So, yeah.
Reece James is looking very decent on the ball, I have to say.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of joy down the right-hand side, which is good at the same time, because I think Reece James has got a little bit of stick from England fans. So, yeah, it's good to see him get some joy. Luke Shaw, really nice 1-2 with Sterling. Mount.
Sterling.
Oh, blocked off again. I tell you what, we're getting a lot of good
chances,
play down
but
the channels.
we're not kind of making anything of it really.
Right, Mason Mount with the corner. Right, of course, Stones did hit the post from the last one, so.
I reckon we bring Pickford up. Let's get him in the box.
He's far too small. He's one of the smallest goalkeepers I've ever seen. He's never winning a header.
Here we go.
It's a good header away. Oh, I'll tell you what, he's absolutely.
That's a tackle that.
Who's been clattered?
It's absolutely
clattered. Unbelievable. Foden back in the penalty area as well. I tell you, he's everywhere.
Oh, he's moving. He's very quick, isn't he?
Yeah, I think
he's got that acceleration.
Impressed me seeing him this season.
Energy. In that first game, he looked on it.
Yeah, his dribbling is just like out of this world. For a player who's what is he like 20 years old? He plays with
literally my age.
Real sense of maturity. Yeah, exactly. He's the same age as us, and we're sat here talking about him. It makes you wonder what you're doing with your life, really. I think it'll be interesting.
We're sat here talking about myfavouritechicken.com.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's out there at the Euros.
We're not all blessed sometimes.
No.
Although to be fair, we could be sat in our living rooms doing it at the moment. You know, just chatting as friends, and we're sat here, streaming out to the world.
The world.
It could be worse. We could be eating myfavouritechicken.com in our own homes.
Right, we've given them enough promotion.
Yeah,
we don't need to mention their name anymore.
We apologise for any blank faces or anything, by the way.
Yeah,
we're having a few Wi-Fi issues.
And we're also
just
quite engaged in the game as well.
For transparency's sake. So just being clear on that. But we're doing the best we can. That's why we're talking about chicken so much. It's just one of those, isn't it? It keeps the conversation going. But I mean, you haven't told me your match there. I mean, I know you agreed on pizza, but you've got to have something that maybe sticks out to you. What about over lockdown? What's been your go-to?
I think a Chinese, but purely on a price point.
Yeah.
Chinese is always
Salt
cheap.
Pepper.
Ooh. Chicken
Right,
udon
Neve,
noodle.
Let's come to you, of course. 22 minutes into the game. I don't really
that was
care
quite the segue.
I don't really care if I've cut you off, Matt, to be honest.
All right.
I just felt like
Don't care. Not bothered.
Let's go to Neve for a sec. What has the reaction been on social media so far?
There's a lot on thoughts from Megan. There's a lot of memes here about them kind of their shouldering and their fighting, but other than that, everything's good. There's some funny photos of Scottish fans. It seems I see a guy with a drum, and it's hilarious. I'll see if I can put it up to the screen here. don't know if you can see this, but some of the photos are absolutely brilliant coming through. You couldn't see that at all, apologies. But it just seems like the atmosphere is amazing there, and I'm super jealous. The pubs are lit, that's the only word. The banter is fantastic. Now, fortunately, Boris isn't letting anyone sing, but that doesn't seem to be stopping too many people going by some of these videos.
Yeah, it seems like from before as well, pre-match to the game, all the Scotland fans that were congregating in, was it Leicester Square that they were? The atmosphere there looked incredible. So yeah, I think the atmosphere inside that stadium must be pretty good.
Oh, I wish I was there, to be honest. I couldn't afford.
You say you don't want to be here?
Well, no, I'm not saying that, of course, but you want to be in the stands, don't you? I'm not saying in place of this, but
we should go. We should do the broadcast from there.
Oh God!
Should we do that for the next game?
No way. The Wi-Fi inside Wembley is even worse. Football stadium Wi-Fi is genuinely like the bane of my life. It's absolutely shocking. It's so bad.
Virgin Media, if you want a brand deal, let us know. We could work something.
Yeah,
if you want to come and
yes, please
well, I don't know if Virgin Media would actually do anything to help the situation. They tend not to be very good.
Virgin,
but I've said that now, so they're probably not going to come for the brand deal.
Yeah.
Just ruined that one. Sorry, rip up the contract.
To be fair, they definitely won't sponsor us anyway, so I think we'll be fine. In terms of dark horses, everyone's been trying to predict dark horses this tournament. Turkey was one of the teams that got predicted to do decent things this tournament, and they've been knocked out. Really,
not great.
3-0.
A lot of people had them as their dark horse, didn't they?
I don't understand why. Don't understand why. Their team was okay. Had a few decent players, but they had an Asian striker in Burak Yilmaz, who yes, he has done well for Lille, but you've got a team there that's it's just bang average. I don't understand why people thought Turkey were all of a sudden so good. Players like Cengiz Under hasn't really torn it up in Europe's top leagues. Mm-hmm. So the only player that most people knew was Soyuncu from Leicester.
Yeah.
And he's been very hit and miss in this tournament. Declan Rice has just elbowed Dykes in the face.
Almost like something from a WWE.
I would love to see some players just do like WrestleManias type stuff. Like if like England were like 2-0 down and then all of a sudden like David Beckham comes out of retirement.
I think as well, or like managers. Imagine like Sean Dyche comes in.
Brilliant. Yeah, when the Super League was going on and all those WrestleMania memes started coming up on Twitter. Genuinely one of the funniest things this year. It was absolutely brilliant. Football Twitter is so much fun. If people haven't got Twitter and they follow football, I feel sorry for them. We need to get some like meme feeds in. Right, what have we got so far in terms of match stats? In terms of best performing players, I think Shaw and James have definitely been two of the most involved players. I think Sterling as well has shown a lot of promise when it comes to that as well. So certainly one of the players to look out for. I think England have made use of the wide areas really well. I apologise if we're looking down here. We're just looking at a few notes and bits and pieces. Of course, with these watch-alongs, it is a little bit more relaxed. So we do have a bit more leeway for fun, really.
So that means someone's going to bring me a pint in a second.
Oh, I could do with a pint actually. Well, I don't know. It's probably not.
Have we got any runners available to?
Yeah, have we got anyone that could get us a pint, please?
And a pint.
It would definitely help
or a myfavouriteChickenShop.com.
Oh yes, a bit of KFC. No, in all honesty, right, I've realised this: having alcohol helps hay fever a lot.
That's one of the more bizarre theories I've heard.
Because I've been drunk a couple of times. And
and
my hay fever's just completely gone.
Recently.
In the last 5 hours. It does help the hay fever because it sort of lessens your senses really. Your brain just doesn't clock that you've got hay fever. So after a while it just sort of goes. So, if anyone's got hay fever and you're over 18, have a sesh, and you'll be fine.
We have to clarify. Make sure you're over 18.
Drink responsibly. Drink responsibly, please. I don't want anyone messaging me saying, "Oh, I drank this and stole a road sign." You know, it's not appropriate. It's disrespectful as well. England dominating the ball at the moment, though. Scotland have barely had a kick, which is. I mean, it's kind of what we expected with a 5 at the back formation. You know that the team's probably going to sit off.
But they're impenetrable. We've not got through yet.
Oh, we've got through a couple of times.
As in we've not actually managed to.
Yeah, no clear-cut chances.
Yeah.
No clear-cut chances so far. Oh, it's an excellent ball though, Kane. Oh, he's put it wide. What a chance for Harry Kane.
Yeah, that wasn't great. I'll be honest.
How's
he never really looked.
Offside?
Was he on? No, he's
no,
off.
Yeah, he's offside. He is offside there.
But he never looked. He never looked
Shocking,
like he had a chance, did he?
The ball was too far ahead of him. He couldn't get his head around it.
I mean, it's a commendable dive. Has to be said.
He's gone for it.
Yeah.
He's followed his striker's instinct.
Yeah.
Will he get top scorer at this tournament? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think it doesn't look.
I think
like,
Ronaldo's looking might do all right.
Yeah, Ronaldo's always
2 goals in the opening fixture.
Yeah,
and I think they're on a pretty good track to make it to the final or the semis. So I think he'll get a fair few games.
Yeah, I'm confident that he will probably get at least 1 or 2 more goals. I mean, a lot of their play revolves around him at the same time, but they do have a lot of good players.
Exactly,
around.
they do, don't they?
It's scary when you've got a team that good with one of the best strikers of all time, or probably the best forward of all time.
I think Fernandes is so key to that, though.
Yeah.
As he has been for Manchester United all season. He creates so many opportunities, and the way that he moves and he creates space.
Excellent
is fantastic.
save by Pickford. Really good save. Really nice shot there, and Pickford has got down low again and made a really decent save. I think that's one of the things with Pickford. You know, whilst a lot of England fans, maybe myself included, aren't keen on him.
Getting a bit nervy.
I think he can pull out the odd really good save. Yeah,
I'm not.
We're never going to be fully comfortable though. It's England.
Yeah.
You're never going to be fully comfortable watching England. There's always something that happens
we don't look
that makes
great.
you think that
we don't look
struggle.
Terrible, but we don't look great.
Both teams, not with. I can't imagine both teams will have a particularly high XG at the moment. everyone always loves the old XG on Twitter, don't they?
Yeah.
I think one of the teams that won't struggle for goals is, like we said, Ukraine. I think are one of those teams that definitely look really good going forward. And Belgium as well. Romelu Lukaku, by the way, excellent couple of games for him. Kevin De Bruyne coming off the bench as well for Belgium, getting the winner.
And I thought it was fantastic in yesterday's game.
Yeah,
when they kicked it out as well, just to go back to the Christian Eriksen
as well.
point. I think they kicked it out in the 10th minute, so everyone in the stadium could applaud. I thought that was a real show of strength and character in the sport, and I think it's been great the way that people have kind of come together, kind of around that, and the way that the football community across the globe, irrespective of teams and nationalities, has really kind of got behind them.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, it's a bit of a lacklustre pass from Harry Kane there. Scotland have looked fairly comfortable, to be fair. I don't think we've troubled them. I think Neve's shout of 0-0 could be a fair
too
shout,
bad
to be
here.
honest.
I still think there's going to be a goal, as we see. Is that Luke Shaw?
I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of tricky players in the side, like Mount, Foden, 2 players with good feet. Foden, I'll say that, he's just booted the ball out. Foden, poor touch there. Commentator's curse. Yeah, Scotland.
I just hope we don't pick up any injuries here.
Yeah, that is one of the issues.
With it being quite a scrappy game already.
Yeah.
We've already had 13 fouls. It's,
13.
13 fouls.
That's a great save by Pickford, by the way. We've just seen some replays as well. Great save. It's a good effort as well. Really good effort. I tell you what, they were lucky not to score there, Scotland. Really decent chance. It's bouncing as well. It's good seeing them playing out from the back as well, though, at the same time. Just coming up to the 33-minute mark. Neve, what do you make of this one so far? Do you think that it's probably been as close as you expected? Now, you called a 0-0. Is this sort of the way you were expecting the game to go?
Yeah, definitely. And going by Twitter, everyone's agreeing. But a lot of people are calling for Rashford to come on, particularly Luke Gardnersbury, the former digital sports editor for Express Sport. There's a lot of debate over Mount coming off as well. But so far, this is exactly how I predicted. And I think it's going to continue this way, maybe right up to the next half.
Yeah, it is one of those tight games. I think, Sterling and Foden so far, two players that have, could maybe make the difference. Mason Mount as well, but Jack Grealish is another player that, has been spoken about a lot and has been given, I think, man of the match in his last 3 games for England.
Yeah.
Is he a player that deserves to start? I know that it sounds like a fairly obvious question, but if it was, then he'd be starting every game.
I think a lot of people were disappointed to see he wasn't in the team, were they?
Yeah. I mean, do you think he deserves to be in the team based on his performances? Because, we've seen time and time again, he has that ability to, unlock an opposition team. He does.
I think him on at half time might be a good shout in this game. I think he's in the middle. I don't know who I'd take off though. Who would you? But I think he could have that impact on this game.
In terms of players taking off,
I think using the full subs as well, it might be a good idea to get some fresh legs on the pitch.
Maybe Sterling. I know what in terms of what Neve said, quite a few people are saying Rashford. I don't know about Rashford. I think sometimes he is very hit and miss. I think he's been poor for United this season performance-wise, but he has got he's got a very good goal-scoring record. So he does have the ability to just pop up with a goal. But I don't know, when it comes to performances like this, tournaments like this, I don't think you can have players that go missing for the majority of the game. But at the same time, you need match winners, and sometimes match winners can just, as quick as a flash make a difference. They don't have to be superb for the whole game. So, yeah, it is one of those. I personally would like to see Grealish play. I think he deserves a chance. I think that he's performed very well for England when he's played. I think he's England's probably...
What do you think of the players who were left out of the squad? For this game, is it Chilwell and Sancho who are not aren't in the squad?
It's a strange one, isn't it? Because Sancho has had a good season for Dortmund. Double figures again for goals. He hasn't maybe quite got as many assists as he has in previous seasons, but he's been again consistently good for Dortmund. And when you want if you're talking about England's wingers, I would say he's England's best winger at the moment.
Yeah.
So he's better than Sterling. He's performed better than Sterling this season. I'd say he's performed better than Rashford. So you're talking England's two best wingers on paper there. But Sancho, for me, he's got to play. At the same time, like the fact that he wasn't even in the squad for the game against Croatia. Yeah. It's a strange one. It really, really is a strange one.
What did you think of Jude Bellingham coming on in that last game as well? He didn't come on
so
for long.
But yeah, I'm very happy to see him.
I think it was probably good for him to get some experience, get some minutes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's only 17, and you would look at it on paper and you think inexperienced. He hasn't quite. But he's played a lot of football for someone who's 17. He's played a lot of games for Dortmund this season. And at times, he's been their best player, which for someone at his age is really commendable. And he plays with a lot of experience.
Scotland
as well.
Tried to sort of cross the ball and just kick it straight out there.
Yeah, strange.
That's terrible.
Strange one from Scott McGinn.
Yeah.
John McGinn, sorry, not Scott McGinn. I'm thinking of Scotland. That'd be a good nickname though, Scott McGinn. If you're Scottish and you call McGinn, go Scott McGinn.
So 37 minutes played. Not a lot of key talking points here.
Yeah, no, certainly not. Certainly not.
There's not been a lot for us to shout about. A couple of chances, but nothing massive. John Stones, obviously, his header.
Yeah, the big chance has been John Stones'.
Yeah, that's what should have. I think he should have scored it, really.
Yeah, free header from, 10 yards out? I think you'd expect, especially a centre half, you'd expect them to, you know, get something a little bit better on the ball. Scotland coming forward here though, and it is Dykes. Being held up well by James. Scotland really struggling to really get anything in this game at the moment. Here's a corner. Well, this is where they could be dangerous, actually.
We've not seen Calvin Phillips as much in this game, I don't think. He's not had that impact on this one.
Yeah, like I said, that three-man midfield for Scotland seems to be doing the job in restricting the space for England, which was always going to be the issue. Whether England can maybe play around that and add an extra man in midfield and go to a 4-3-3.
So would you say tactically that Scotland have got this one right?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you think we're going to see changes at half-time from Southgate?
I think Scotland have got this nailed on so far. They've done what they want to do.
Scotland corner.
They want to win this though, because if they can't afford to draw this game.
Both, yeah, I mean, for both teams, I mean, obviously England would like to go into that third game knowing that they're through.
Yeah, they're basically through.
And obviously Scotland, if they lose this, then I don't know, the probably best chances in the
ball. Pickford, decent punch actually. He's done well there in a crowd of players.
Best chance would be in that third place spot. You see here, we just need a better break. But there you go, and you see that's the pace that we need there. Doesn't quite get to it.
The balls down the right and left-hand channels haven't quite been what they need to be so far. A lot of them overhit. Some poor touches in and around the box. Again, this is what a lot of fans, and me in particular, see when we're watching England play. Such a talented squad, but so average on the pitch at points, you know. Not being able to break teams down or not really having the quality in the final third, which, if you look at all the players that we've got in the forward positions, you know, so it's a miracle as to how we're not creating more chances or putting teams under pressure a bit more. Because when we're coming up against teams much better than this, you know, you've got to be able to have moments where you can just get one chance and one goal. And at the moment, England don't feel like that sort of team today.
Yeah.
Here is Reece James again. Him and Luke Shaw have certainly seen most of the ball. I mean, it's just been England passing it around, really, isn't it? It's not really been much of a spread-out contest. Scotland have looked all right. I think this is what they would have set out to do, and just try and control the game, sit back, defend.
That was definitely out, yeah. So if you were to compare this back line to the one that started in the first game, who do you think's been the better combination? You think Trippier or Shaw? Or do you think not a massive?
I don't know, because
I personally am not seeing a massive change. I mean, Shaw's done quite well in this game so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trippier is a right back, and I don't think left back is obviously.
There was a lot said position. About the choices of defenders that Southgate brought to this.
Yeah, because you choose 4 right backs, and then you choose 2 left backs, and then you decide to play one of the right backs at left back.
Yeah.
You know, it makes no sense. I think Trippier, he's had a very, very good season at Atletico Madrid. I know that Diego Simeone really likes him, and he's impressed the staff and the players and stuff at Madrid. And obviously they want to keep him. They've put a £40 million price tag on his head, which is a lot of money. I know Man United are very heavily linked with him at the moment. He is a Man United fan apparently, so you could maybe potentially see that deal coming. It'd be good to see him back in the Premier League. Of course, he has won La Liga as well, so it's another title-winning player in the squad. Plenty of experience. If I was to see him, I'd want to see him on the right. I think that he's a very, very capable right back. I think he doesn't maybe quite get the credit he deserves. He's had a very impressive season, albeit a defensive Atletico Madrid side, so he will see more action there and he will improve his defensive game. Personally, I think Reece James is a very viable option. He's got sort of the best of both worlds, really. We've got England coming forward. It's just sort of seeing out.
Again, that back line for Scotland, it's
doing a job.
They really are.
Yeah.
They're not giving them much chances, especially in the middle, in front of goal, closing it down.
I mean, in terms of tactical changes, what do you think Southgate's going to do? Because you've got to sort the midfield out, because we're losing you know, I mean, it's about breaking Scotland down, isn't it? And that's the tricky question. This is always
It
a
is.
very
It's
tough
how
situation.
how do we expose this? I mean, there again, it's almost like there's 6 players in that back line there. As one of them drops off, it's just we need to
Grealish
break
is
through
perfect for
that,
this.
and I think it's going to have to come down the sides
Grealish has
and then
gotta
leave
come on
space
for
in the
me.
middle.
He finds half spaces so well. He'll always find pockets, and he just always seems to be in space when he has the ball. He works well around players. I mean, you know, you could maybe take Kane off and have like more of a rotational front three and have Sterling
Who would you
maybe.
Who would you put
But,
up top?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think. I don't think there's anyone really off the bench that can do the same job because, for example, you know, Calvert-Lewin is very much a target man. And that's all for me that he really offers, and I don't think that's what this game needs.
No.
I also think that, you know, you could maybe talk about Rashford, but I don't think he's good as a number 9 at all. He's good as an inside forward coming off the left-hand side, but I don't think he's a good number 9
His
at all.
finishing sometimes leaves a little bit.
Yeah,
be
and
desired.
Jose Mourinho said that as well. He said that Rashford is not a number 9. You could, of course, I mean, you could have Foden as a false 9 maybe. He's played there a couple of times. I know that they've played Gundogan in that position a few times as well because of their lack of a striker. You know, it's one of those really where you've got to find players that are just going to be able to find space and run off each other. And I think players like Foden, Mount, Grealish are the players to be able to do that. Che Adams with the ball here, deflected. It's a shot deflected wide. Mings getting frustrated at his teammates. He's had another decent game, Tyrone Mings. I think he's definitely proved a lot of his doubt was wrong, would you say?
Just watching here, Scotland corner.
Yeah, we've got about 3 streams up
Yeah, we have. We're all on different delays
at
here.
the moment, so yeah, no. I do apologise for any coughing, by the way. I've got a bit of a sore throat.
Don't say that. Yeah.
No, I've been suffering with hay fever for the past week.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
think
been-
a lot of
it's
people
been
have been
pretty
playing
shocking.
that game of hay fever or COVID. It's been a bit of a
No,
tricky one for a lot of people.
I've suffered with hay fever since I was 11, 12. I get bad every year. It's always really bad. I take about 3 hay fever pills a day, and it still doesn't do anything. So disappointing.
That is half time, 0-0.
Yeah, that is half time. So England 0, Scotland 0. Pretty much what we expected. Close game, scrappy game. England, like I said before the game, actually struggling to break down that low block, which was going to be the issue. And I think that's where my issues with Southgate lie. I don't think he's got the tactical nous to be able to deal with that.
there.
Yeah, I think a Scotland player's been given a yellow. I think maybe John McGinn.
Yeah, it looks like he's having a word with the ref at the end there.
So we'll have to see what happens there. I'm not sure what that was about. I think it was probably arguing with officials. I don't know. Strange first half. I think standout players for England, I'd say definitely Shaw and James.
Shaw, he's had a lot of time on the ball, hasn't he? He's been quite active. You know, we've seen him on the ball quite a lot. We've seen Sterling making quite a few good runs, but I'd say as well, Phillips, he's not been as lively, and he's not.
Rice as well.
Yeah, but I'd say Phillips as well. He's not played quite as he did in that first game.
Yeah, I think that does come down in part to the fact that Croatia and Scotland played 2 very different styles. I think Croatia are certainly more, you know, I mean, for one, they play a 4-3-3. They've got a much more different midfield. I think Scotland have packed out the midfield. I think that's restricted the space that that England have had on the ball. Whilst England have had a lot of possession, they haven't really been able to do anything with it so far. So yeah, I think this is one of the issues with England and why they will come unstuck. I mean, we've already spoke about changes. You know, I think Jack Grealish, we've mentioned him quite a few times. It's one of those where changes have got to come early in the second half. I think you probably leave it 5-10 minutes in the second half, and then if it's still the same, you make your changes. For me, Kane again. He's had spells where he's looked like he's able to just create space for Sterling and Foden coming inside. but at the same time, you do want him to try and get a goal or create something out of nothing. But Scotland have defended very well. Let's give credit to Scotland.
Yeah,
They've been a very good unit.
They have. I think their back line has performed particularly well. England, whilst they've had chances, they've managed to get through, especially on the sides. But in front of goal and in the middle, and in terms of actually getting the shot off, it's not. They've not really managed it. And yeah, I think credit where credit's due to Scotland's defence. I think they've come in, they've known, they've thought about this, and they've thought this is the way that they're going to play, and that's obviously the way they've set up to play. And England so far just not really breaking down that back line.
Yeah, that has been the issue, and I think that if we're playing, or trying to play expansive football, or trying to, break teams down, I think that, that is going to be the biggest question that's answered, and that is often a stumbling block for a lot of managers. We saw that even with Pep Guardiola in his Manchester City side.
Yeah.
A lot of people asking the question, can they break down a team with a low block? And that seems to be the issue for a lot of modern, possession-based style of football. Let's go to Niamh then, because obviously half-time's the best chance to get, all the latest half-time talk. I think we can probably maybe talk a little bit about match snacks as well now that we've got a bit more time, and I don't have to cut anyone off to segue into something else. So what has been the reaction so far? And then also give us your little, what you'd be eating at half-time if you had the choice at the moment.
Well, personally, it's not been the most exciting game so far. I think everyone can agree, and everyone's clearly putting that across through Twitter, but a very good game of end-to-end football. Talk Sport has put up something saying, retweet if you want Jack Grealish to come on. And I mean, he put it up now 7 minutes ago, and the numbers are rising, 1,400, 1,500 retweets. It's just constantly growing, and it seems like this is the hub of Twitter at the minute, looking for him to come on.
Yeah, I think before the game as well, we no Jack Grealish or no Grealish was trending on Twitter, wasn't it? And I think people are keen to see him come on.
TalkSport know what they're doing there. That's a good Twitter. That's a good Twitter admin they've got there. He knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
he's playing the social media game well.
Getting the interactions.
Let's talk about match snacks then, because we've constantly been having digs in our ears about match snacks and snack attacks and transformer snacks. So, Niamh, what would you be having at this point?
Well, see, it depends. See, to start the match, you have to go with a meal. Like if it's a burger and chips, chicken and chips, it has to be a takeaway. And then halfway in the game, it has to be, I don't know, crisps. Anything. For us, it's a cup of tea or topping up your beer, topping up your gin, whatever you're having.
Gin?
I mean, you can't have football without a drink. I'm a gin drinker.
That's a very posh way to watch football, I tell you.
It's a posh drink, but we'll have to stick with it. Whether anyone else around me is having their beers, their Guinnesses, it's the only way. I mean, with football comes alcohol. Yeah. I don't make the rules with that.
Wow. Yeah, it's a good point.
Unless you're, who was it, Paul Pogba, he moved
the
his
Heineken
out the way of his
I mean, to be fair, that was obviously for religious reasons.
Do you think Ronaldo doing it first with the Coca-Cola, do you think that's inspired a lot of other players to?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
do you think? I think they've seen that, haven't they? They've seen Ronaldo's done it, and he's made a thing of it, and no consequences have come to that. Whereas now,
yeah, I think that probably is more of it.
I feel like now they're going to have to sort of clamp down a little bit.
Yeah, it was interesting to read.
You can't have every press conference. I don't feel like the sponsors would be particularly happy, would they?
Well, I know that. I think I forgot whose manager it was. Was it Turkey or Czech Republic? He opened the bottle of Coke and was just downing the bottle of Cokes. The Russian manager, I think he was. He was just downing the bottles of Coke. So I thought it was really good. And then John McGinn obviously made a little joke about it. I mean, it was interesting to see that Coke's stocks fell by £4 billion pounds after Ronaldo did that, which is, if when you say £4 billion, it sounds like a lot of money. It's only 1% of their stocks, really. They're a huge
still a lot
company.
Of money. I mean, obviously,
but it's still an awful lot of money for one person just moving a bottle of Coke and boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Losing. It's unbelievable. The influence that he has is incredible, really. But he is, like you said, the all-time Euros men's top scorer.
Yeah. So if we go back to Niamh, what else is kind of happening on socials? What are people saying? Apart from that, they want
People are
Grealish to come
labelling the
back
game
on.
as depressing.
It hasn't been
Which we don't
particularly
want to
exciting,
see.
has it? It's not been kind of.
I'm just a reporter, so don't be shitting me now. And people are also just talking about snacks as well, are comparing players to Tesco meal deals, which I'm loving.
Oh,
So they're saying
give
Gareth
us one.
Southgate's style of play, if it was a meal deal, is a bottle of water, a ham sandwich, and a Walker's ready salsa.
Oh, I'd say it was
Oh,
definitely a
100%.
cheese sandwich.
This is what
It's
I'm
a
saying.
cheese
This
sandwich.
is what I'm saying. We need a manager that can play
A ploughman's.
high press attacking football, like
Or a BLT or something.
Yeah,
Manager who takes a little bit of that BLT and.
yeah. Get like a proper pork pie and a lager.
Someone has put all of their cryptocurrency gains on the game for England to win, and I mean that's a lot
you
of
wouldn't be
money,
happy
and
now,
this
would
is
you?
just a
Well, I mean, if you
sad-
have like 50 Bitcoin, it's not much of a gamble,
50 Bitcoin.
I mean, we don't know how many Bitcoins she has now, but this is what she's saying. I mean, if I were her, I would be sweating at the minute anyway.
Yeah, I this is such a stupid. It's like when people get tattoos of like. I saw one Liverpool fan got a tattoo of like Liverpool to be Champions League winners or Premier League winners this season, and they didn't win either. And it's just like, why do people do it? You're asking for trouble. Ridiculous. I can't. Oh God, it does my head in when people do that. It's also very funny, but yeah, I just don't understand why people do it. Good to see fans back in the stadium. Of course, we did touch on it earlier. Do you think they've made much of a difference? I know the game has been like Neve said. People have said it's depressing, which pretty much sums it up. Really, it's just Gareth Southgate football. But what have you made of maybe the difference that fans have made so far?
I mean, it's hard to say from here. Obviously, we're not in the stadium. You can't quite gauge the atmosphere perfectly from here. But from what it looks like there's a lot of energy in the crowd, especially from those Scotland fans that are there. It looks like they're really willing their side on, and so far it's paying off. Do I think realistically it's going to have a massive impact? Probably not. Like I feel like here where both teams are actually playing at a fairly similar standard. Really, England have had the better of the chances, but we've still not been able to break down that back line, and I think that's going to be something that Southgate's going to have to address at half time. What would you say is what would you do in his position? Obviously, I know we've spoken obviously about Grealish. Is there anyone else that you think now you would be bringing on, or what are the changes positionally maybe?
I don't know. I think 4-3-3. I think would maybe change it. You go with a few more players in midfield. It's a tough one to call, really. It's one of those because I'm pretty sure you said Sancho's not in the squad, right? So that leaves.
Yeah, I think him and Chilwell were left out.
So that gives you two less options to bring on, and change the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Grealish really is the only player at the moment, or the main player. Rashford, I think potentially, yeah. I think Rashford's a decent shout. So
am I right in thinking there's 5 substitutions at Euro 2020?
That's a good question, actually.
I think there's a full
so,
5 like we've seen.
Because I think it's been the case with a lot of tournaments during this COVID period.
Do you think that's going to be something that happens kind of going forward?
Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I mean, I can see it being put back to 3, to be honest, when we go back to normal. I'm just getting news in that Sancho is on the bench, actually. So apologies for the mistake. But it is a positive for England because it does mean that we have someone else to bring on. I think personally, Sancho for Sterling, and then shift Foden over to the left, or maybe bring him into midfield. And maybe take Rice off and have Grealish come on, and then you've got certainly more attacking players there. But then obviously you've only got Phillips as your holding then, so it's a tough one, really. I've got no idea what Scotland are going to. I think Scotland.
Yeah,
I don't
know Scotland as a team. I've not seen them play that much, so I don't really know kind of what their perhaps changes would be. But at the moment, it seems like it's working. Maybe they just need to stick with the formation that they've got, and perhaps just bring on some fresh legs to keep up that intensity. Will probably pay. But sort of in terms of if it stays the way it is, if it is a 0-0 draw, how do you think that's going to impact that third game? How do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think England are going to have to play differently? And with Scotland, obviously,
well, it puts us level with
losing
the
their
Czech
first
Republic,
one.
doesn't it? It puts us level with the Czech Republic, so we would still be under pressure going into the last game, I think.
Yeah, so Czech Republic and England would both be on 4 points, and then Croatia and Scotland would just be on the 1.
Yeah, so if we were to lose the game to the Czech Republic, then obviously we would go out. But I think the thing is, though, if we do draw against Scotland, you know, England and Croatia would, England and the Czech Republic would only have to both draw, and they would go through, and they play each other. So surely you would think, just play for the 0-0. But
yeah,
because they play each
I
other.
don't like where this conversation's
They play each other, but surely
going.
both managers was like, oh, we'll just play for the 0-0, and we're both through.
I mean, I don't think it's quite that simple. Would you not just go for the? Because surely you want to be in.
Well, let's be honest. No one wants to finish first in this group, because you're coming up against France, Portugal, or Germany.
But do you not think it's momentum? Would you rather win 3 games, or would you rather like?
It would not surprise me if someone scored an own goal in that game. I'll 100%.
Oh, it was an accident. I promise.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Right. So teams are coming back out for half time. Neve, let's come back to you before they start the second half. How do you think this half is going to go, and what is everyone saying on the socials?
Half now, and saying the greenish needs to come on is the basis of it. Everyone's shocked by how good Scotland's playing, going by the socials, and absolutely more shocked about Foden's hairstyle, which is now blonde. So there's a lot of funny memes going around and a lot of shock. I don't think it's been approved on social media anyway. Going by this.
I feel sorry for Foden. All he wanted to do was have a bit of fun with his hair, and everyone's telling him how bad his hair is.
I did see in an interview though, he seemed like he was kind of. He saw the funny side of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine players let it get to them. They get abused on a weekly basis. You know, as sad as it sounds, they're probably used to it, really. It's just part and parcel of being a footballer, really. Right, we are about to start the second half. Are we going to see a difference? We hope so. I mean, I would love a good second half.
Come on, England!
Come on,
England! It's coming home. It's coming home, fellas.
It's not. Yeah.
It's coming home.
England are coming home.
I'm telling you.
England will be coming home after the round of 16.
Honestly, ye of little faith.
I have too much experience watching England, and I'm only 20, and they already make me miserable. But let's stay positive. Let's stay positive. You know, we could get a 1-0 scrap or 1-0 again. I just don't feel comfortable scrapping these games against very average teams.
Yeah, exactly. It was. I feel like we should be doing more.
It's the same
here,
as the Euro. It feels the same as the World Cup. But we were actually battering teams there. We beat Panama 6-1. We only just beat Tunisia, though. We only just beat Tunisia.
Yeah. We didn't have the hardest route to the final, though, did we?
No, the only half decent team we played that whole tournament was Croatia, and we lost.
Yeah.
Which is the problem, you know. I don't know.
As we've kicked off in the second half, straight away kicked the ball out for no reason.
And then obviously we played Belgium in the third place playoff, and they battered us as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Did we win or lose to them in the group? I can't remember.
It's a good question. I think we drew. Was it 1-1, 0-0, something like that? Yeah. I remember it being.
That would be a draw.
Yeah, I remember it being not a very great game, which is probably what you can be said for most of them. I think some managers are definitely more built for...
Again, Luke Shaw with the ball. Crosses up. Puts it in the box.
Oh, it's a good ball. Shaw.
Oh, again.
Blocked out, and it's a corner. Come on. The pressure's on now. Yeah. I'll tell you what, Luke Shaw's made so many runs.
Come on, England. We want some energy from you here. Right.
Luke Shaw's made a lot of runs there. He's constantly
he's
finding
done all right,
space in that
actually.
channel. Every single time. Why don't we make more use of that? Oh, it's a good header away again. Oh, I tell you what, John's. Oh, and Scotland have got the ball back here.
Oh, thank
Don't
God.
really have any players on the break. Good
Again, Luke Shaw,
recovery.
fantastic
Good recovery
player.
by
Brilliant.
Luke Shaw.
Well done.
He's been everywhere in this game. He's been everywhere. He has been good, I have to say. I've been impressed with him. There's definitely a bit more balance to the England
I didn't
side
actually
with
see,
a
but was there
natural
any
left back.
substitutions at half time? There wasn't any.
No changes
There
at
was no
half time,
changes
which
at
is what
half-time,
we
which
expected.
I think
You know,
they
you
must-
got. I said, you know, wait
Come
5, 10
60 minutes, the benches are really going to make the difference here, I feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless Scotland continues to play like this, it's basically sucking all the life out of the game. England have played okay.
Look,
They just
he's
need
in,
to learn how to
who's
break
that?
teams
It's
down.
in
Really. It's
loads of
Kane.
space.
Bit of space. Sterling. It's come on! It's another cross that's gone.
But it's still, the
across the
ball's
face
still
of the
there.
box, and it's cleared
Edge of
away
the
again.
box.
England
Mount with
building
the
up
run.
ahead of
Is that-
steam.
Ah!
Mount! What a save!
Oh, it looked like it was going in on my
Marshall,
screen.
unbelievable
Looked like it was going
save.
in.
Unbelievable save by Marshall. Well, unbelievable. It's probably a save you'd expect him to make on second.
Again? Sterling with the Megs.
Oh, man.
He's absolutely had that. He's had that man's life about
Good
3
start to the
times.
second half, though. Very, very good start to the second half. It's another corner. Foden with the flick. It's over the bar. Another corner gone to waste. I mean, after that header with John Stones, I think we probably expected England to maybe dominate a little bit more from set pieces, but it hasn't really been the case so
Mason
far.
Mount, was it?
I think so. Another player that's he's seen a lot of the ball. I think a lot of England's forwards have seen the ball in the game so far, but it is one of those where you're struggling really to get a clear-cut chance. But I have to say, a very positive start to the second half. No one really standing out for Scotland so far, which I think is a good sign for England. I was expecting them to have a little bit of more of a go, you know. I knew that they were going to be somewhat defensive, or somewhat expected them to be a bit defensive, but I think this is they're not really, you know, giving it a big effort.
Yeah.
Really, you know, it's sort of just.
The game's just quite flat at the moment. It doesn't. Oh, look there, shot of Grealish.
Grealish on the cameras. Is he coming on soon? Oh, he's strapping himself up. He's putting his boots on.
Look at that, he's giggling.
There we go. Jack Grealish could be coming on soon. Be nice to see him on. Southgate's looking a little bit concerned, it has to be said.
No waistcoat again.
Yeah. Maybe it is the waistcoat. Maybe it was the waistcoat powers.
Scotland have a break here.
McTominay. It's
Oh,
decent
he's not got the
looking
pace
pass,
there.
but Mings again. Another good
yeah.
interception. Well read. I think he's definitely taken me by surprise in the tournament so far.
I think so. I think he's been quite commanding almost in that central role, and I think he's done his job. You know, I think he's done what you could expect from him. I think in that first game he played particularly well.
I mean, I think that he's certainly looks solid.
Yeah.
You know, whether he gets replaced after Maguire comes back from injury is yet to be seen. I think Southgate will definitely put Maguire in if he comes back. There's no way that Mings still plays. I think that he's stepped up.
I sometimes think. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. It might be good to have fresh legs on the pitch, but look at the pace.
Good chance for Scotland here. John McGinn. Oh no, it's Robertson. Sorry. Decent defending again from England. Poor ball by Robertson, in all honesty.
Oh,
England just haven't been troubled at all here in this game. They've had a few slightly nervous moments, but that's it really. Nothing too concerning.
Just to go back to the Mings and Maguire point, would you rather put on like fresh legs, fresh back from injury, or would you rather put someone who's kind of been in the team during the tournament, he's played the games, he's on like a roll, he's got the momentum.
It's a good question.
Do you think you change it? Obviously, if it's not working, but he seems to be doing all right.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because he seems to be doing all right, but I think Mings sometimes.
Maguire's experience.
Yeah, I think Maguire. He's captain of Man United. He's had experience at a higher level. He's played European football. He's played for England before. Yeah. Gareth Southgate really likes him. I think that.
It's all about the scrutiny of the press.
I think Mings is a decent player, but he can be inconsistent, as is with Maguire. But yeah, no. I think once Maguire's fully fit, he comes straight back into the team. As harsh as that would be on Mings, because he has been pretty decent, albeit against limited opponents. It's been a much better second half though. Really.
Well, yeah, we've had some good chances there. I mean, it's still, again, the game still feels a little bit flat. We just doesn't seem to be a lot of. Again, look at that back five for
chances.
Scotland.
Foden's put it in again. A lot of the play seems to be coming out wide. We're trying a lot of crosses and things like that. The thing is that Kane is getting nowhere near any of the crosses or anything. Scotland's back threes is just defending everything.
Marking him.
Defending absolutely everything. And at the moment, that seems to be the issue that Southgate's got to resolve. And again, England have dominated the entire game.
Just all the way back. Start again. All the way back to the keeper.
It is a bit like watching Wolves, to be honest.
That's never good.
Yeah, just passing it around, get to the box, get a clearance, get a cross cleared away, go back to the goalkeeper. It's very similar. But I think the big positive from it has been, I think, Reece James coming in. I think his first game of the tournament. He definitely looks like a decent player. We've certainly seen a lot of debate about the right back positions. Can we get the right one to play, and that's really been the issue. But I think that him and Shaw really have looked pretty decent. I think Shaw has shown that how important it is to have a natural left back playing, because he's been finding the spaces a lot better. Come on,
it's just the same. It's just the same, isn't it? It's just down one side, then back the other way. It's not been the most exciting game so far. Foden making it.
A lot of the ball.
He's just quick. He's got that on-the-ball pace, hasn't he? He creates chances and he creates space and he's able to run into space. So we see here, who's that?
Kane.
James?
Has to be. Oh, just over the bar again.
Doesn't finish the chance again. A good chance, but we just don't quite. Man, with a very hairy chest.
That is a very hairy chest. I think the guy definitely needs to get some home wax or something. No offence, mate. I hope he doesn't see that. That's so unlucky. A really good chance again, though. Reece James. Space opened up for him. He's got that in his locker. He scored an absolute firecracker against Ajax in the Champions League. He's definitely got a long shot in him. Really unlucky again, though. And again, England, though, having the majority of the chances, having the majority of the possession, it's a tough game to call at the moment. I have to say, though, if you look at Scotland's defence, I know people, obviously you can't see it on the screen, but you're probably watching along with us. Scotland's defence has definitely got a lot more, it's been more expansive in the second half. You can see the gaps between the centre-halves and the full-backs are a lot bigger than they were before, because they certainly look less compact. I think now Scotland are going to try.
I think they're trying to push on,
aren't they? Push on, and
as England have started quite well.
I mean, if you were a Scotland fan and you came down to watch, this game, and your team just parked the bus for the majority of it, you'd be a bit disappointed.
Well, maybe as we see Scotland on the attack here.
Dykes. It's blocked by Adams. It's come back to him.
Surely it must be.
Oh, it's a good block again, though. I tell
And
you
Foden,
what.
again, he's working back. He's there. And he's able to recover the ball.
Good play by Foden. Look at that.
And now
Gets England well.
Look at
up
that,
the
4v6.
Kane, I think that's a free kick. Is it? What's he giving? He's giving something against England.
Kane just...
Or is he giving it for... What's he said there?
He's having a word with...
Yeah, I think he has given it for England. He's talking to Billy Gilmore there.
He's having a word with him.
Strange decision, I think, to have Billy Gilmore in there. He's a very talented player, but he hasn't played a lot of football
I feel like
this
Kane's
season.
looking for the free kick there.
Yeah, I don't really think that's a foul, you know. Bit harsh there. Good chance again, though, for Scotland. Shot, unfortunately, blocked by Chams for them. But again, look at the bodies England are getting back. And then Foden, straight away, getting the ball and dribbling England up the pitch, which is...
Again, he's there. He's there when it's needed, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
He's all over the pitch, which is good. It's good to see. Is that Mount and Foden again? Who do you reckon?
Another good set piece. To be honest, it's pretty much a carbon copy to one of the
one.
ones we had in the first half, just on the opposite side.
Lovely.
It is Foden for this one. Just headed away, and David Marshall collects. Again, set pieces. Not really been great so far. Of course, you know, going back to the chances we had, we did have that one chance with John Stones. Grealish is warming up. Grealish is warming up, people. He's going to come on. Grealish. I can feel it. You got a few dads singing in the crowd there, loving the rain. I've been to Wembley before. It's a decent stadium. I think that the problem is with Wembley sometimes, because it's so big, you can't quite get the same atmosphere as you can maybe in some smaller compact stadiums. But yeah, it definitely sounds always really loud in there, which was a big thing I realised. Much better second half though. Much better second half than the first half. I mean, it feels a lot more lively, shall we say. Speaking of lively, Neve, let's go to you for the social media reactions. I'm sure that plenty of people will have
what are they saying on this first 15 minutes of the...
exactly.
Coming up to 60 minutes.
Yeah, what have they got to say at the moment?
Well, football's coming home is not trending. Football's boring home is now kind of getting there, which we don't like to see. But it seems like Scotland has taken over Leicester Square. They are not wasting any minutes, and apparently their cheers can be heard all over London. Other than that, socials have been oddly quiet, just screaming for Grealish to come on, and that's about it. England fans seem disappointed, and Scottish fans seem happy enough.
Well, I'm pretty sure, you'll be feeling fairly happy as well. Your match prediction seems to be spot on at the moment.
I am. I wish I put money on this now with you.
I thought 0-0 was a little bit boring at first. I thought, 0-0.
I agree. I thought it was definitely going to be a goal in that first half, but no.
Yeah, maybe Neve is the only person that really understands how boring
Yeah, we haven't got a clue. Useless.
It was a bold prediction, but it's definitely paying off at the moment. So yeah, thank you, Neve.
Foden
for that.
again down the right-hand side.
Social media shouts. Yeah, Foden again though. He's literally the only player we've got that's doing anything. Let's hope that something can change here. We've got a bit more energy now. Mount blocks out for a corner. Another corner. England are definitely turning up the pace in this second half. Scott McTominay spitting on the floor. I'm sure the groundsman won't be too pleased about that. It's a bit disrespectful. Grealish is getting his top on.
Grealish is putting his shirts on.
Come on. That's a reason to get excited now.
Come on. Oh, why is he trying to bicycle kick there?
Mings trying an overhead kick. What an absolute legend. He's not giving it. You've got to have something a bit exciting.
Pickford clears it there.
That could be a decent ball, you know.
Oh, that is a fantastic ball. Come on. It's a 1-on-4 though. Again, that's the problem. It's a 1-on-4. Oh,
the thing is, for me, Sterling's just cut inside, have a shot there. I don't understand for the life
And now
of me
Scotland are on the break, and the guy that was pretending to be injured
is really wide. Considering they're playing with the front two, look at the gap between Adam and Dykes. It's very strange. For me, you've got to have those two sitting on the centre halves. I don't know why Adams is coming out so far wide to the left hand channel. Very strange.
Yeah.
He's coming inside a bit more now. Scotland have been very decent. Fair play to them. They're tactically there. It's working wonders for them at the moment. That's a good ball in. Oh,
Good ball
I'll tell you
for
what,
Scotland
good defending
there.
from Mings
Mings
there.
again.
Dykes again causing issues. Mings just having to watch his back there. Looking dangerous. I tell you, Scotland do pose a danger. We can't switch off. Cannot switch off at all.
I'll be honest, I don't think we're winning this. I don't think we're winning this at all. I think it's going to be a draw or we lose. We don't look good.
Oh, come on. You were telling me I was being too negative earlier.
How
the tables turn. Grealish, hopefully will be coming on.
Come on.
That's what we want.
Come on, England.
I mean, it depends on who he replaces.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a good chance,
again,
header.
Scotland.
Dykes
Oh!
off the line.
Was that,
oh,
who
my
was
word.
that? Foden again, fantastic energy. He's just ran the length of the pitch there.
Ideally, you'd want to see Foden and Grealish maybe play on either wing and come inside. I don't think Sterling has really done too much. So you're probably looking at bringing Sterling off and keeping... Because I think Foden and Grealish on there would suit this team perfectly, really. Yeah. Whether Gareth agrees or not is a different case altogether. I think that was Dykes' shot on the rebound. Let's have a look. It might have just been curling in. I think it might have been going wide. I don't know.
I think it was wide, and he did nearly put it in the back of the net. To be fair,
it's causing issues though, Dykes.
Oh,
you're joking.
Oh, Foden's off. Grealish is on though.
Foden is off for Grealish.
Well, that just shows how much we know about football. Absolutely nothing. What we've just said, probably don't do. He's done. So
maybe it's a surprise.
Maybe
I'll be honest.
tired.
That's a surprise.
Maybe he was tired.
That is a surprise. Foden's been probably our best player.
It's coming home, boys. It's coming home.
Very interesting. I think Sterling switched over to the right.
I want to see that impact now from Grealish. We need to see that.
To be fair, now that Sterling switched over to the right, you could see Sancho replace Sterling later on in the game. McGinn. It's just been shouted out by Rice. Rice and Phillips have barely had a kick in this game. They've been probably doing some of the unnoticed dirty work. Scotland fans in full voice at the moment. One player that didn't get called, of course we spoke about Ward-Prowse earlier.
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard is another one who didn't get called up, despite his really impressive second half of the season at West Ham. Do you think that he's maybe a player that could have made a difference in a match like this?
I don't necessarily see him opening up like we need to here, really.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he would make a difference compared to what we've got on the pitch or what we've got on the bench. We're just not opening up at the back line, really, are we? We're not getting our chances through. I just don't see him making that much of a difference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it does come down to system, and I think it does come down to tactics as well. You know, one of the issues with Southgate ball, as we like to call it, I don't even know if you can name it really. It just seems to be passing it around. Which I mean, I could
bit
coach
of Brucey
that.
ball.
We could coach that. Just pass it around for 80 minutes. Let our forward players do the work. At the moment, it really does not look like England are going to be able to get a goal in this one. I can't see a scoring.
It's just they're very like stagnant. They don't look like they're quite happy just to pass it about and, you know, keep possession of the ball. There's no real.
Yeah,
although as I say that, it's a nice
really.
run there.
I really thought that Southgate would go a bit more attacking for this one, or the team themselves would be a little bit more, you know, on the ball or trying to force the issue.
Down the left. No one in the box. No one in the box. Kane.
Apart from Kane.
Kane stood behind three men, though.
The problem is three at the back.
The problem is he stood behind three men. So who's he going? He can't pass it through him, can he? So
do you stick Calvert-Lewin on alongside Kane?
Yeah, maybe if we had the two up top, might give us a bit more.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I don't know.
A bit more ability to kind of.
Really, where do you change this? That's the question. We've got another corner though. It's to the near post. Again, doesn't beat the first man. Cleared away again. Seems to be an issue for us as well. Set pieces was something that England were really dangerous from in the World Cup. Like, we were so good at set pieces. We had Maguire, we had Kane. You know, players that would get their head on the box, and a lot of our goals came from set pieces. It seems to be the complete opposite, really, in this tournament so far. We just haven't really quite got the same dominance. Maybe that's
Again,
because Maguire's not in there.
Grealish,
It's another
most foul player.
on Grealish. Most, like you said, most foul player in the Premier League. So it doesn't really come as a surprise. Let's go to Neve for the social media reaction. Then, obviously, Grealish has come on now, so I can imagine that people will be a lot happier. Are people maybe, you know, slightly happier about the game going into sort of the last 24 minutes, or is it still, you know, the majority on the negative side?
No, it was the right move. England fans are definitely happy, and Chris Waddle also is talking on BBC 5 Live Sports saying that nobody is taking any risks and asking for people's opinion. So England fans are saying that England are playing it too safe, but Scotland's defence has been great so far, is the outcome of this. What's your thoughts, lads? Is England playing it too safe?
Yeah, no, I think that echoes what we've just been saying. That England, they're happy, they're complacent just to pass it about the back, and then maybe, you know, kick it over or kick it down the side and hope for something. But they're not really willing to take many chances or kind of, you know, move out of formation or move out of position too much. They're just, again, look, there you go, straight back to the goalkeeper.
There's no urgency
from all the way into the corner. There's no energy about it really. And obviously Foden, who was a player who looked like he was bringing some energy.
Good ball though, Kane. Go on. Oh, I tell you what, another good interception by Scott McTominay. Scotland are doing a job on us here.
They really are.
Has to be said. You know, you saw the lineup. We knew it was going to be a tough game. It's one of those really where, you know, maybe a second forward would do the job, because Kane looks so isolated in the box at the moment.
I think that's what we need. We need some more strike power up top, don't we?
I think Sancho and Calvert-Lewin maybe bringing those two on would help.
Calvert-Lewin, he's got a finish on him, so I think that's what we're lacking at the moment. Really,
we're putting a lot of crosses into the box.
Exactly, we're getting it out the sides. We're just not getting it.
I think that's definitely an option for us. Whether we actually do that, you know, is different. Again, we're playing a lot of those little passes to the edge of the box. I've realised that they seem to be doing that. They'll cut inside and then play a pass to the edge of the area. Most of the time we've had someone there, but that case, not really. It's another real sort of wasted chance of possession. I mean, Scotland, I don't think it really looks like they're going for the win, but I think set pieces is probably their best way to go. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. From corners, and free kicks, they've looked quite strong, and they've caused England a couple of issues. Obviously, that clearance almost off the line by, was it James? I think that's going to be a good way for them as well. It's kind of, they don't have to worry about the count, to a certain degree, but they don't have to worry about it if they can move more players from that back line up and get a few more men in the box than what they are at the moment, really.
The thing is, I can definitely see Scotland like nabbing a late scrappy winner or something.
Yeah,
you know
Fergie
what I mean?
time.
Yeah, I mean, he is in the stands today.
I know.
Yeah, maybe the
the ref.
The spirit of Fergie lives on.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be getting a megaphone out and shouting down to the ref.
It's a bleak watch, this, it has to be said. I think we should stick to talking about chicken.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
that's one of
the first game that we've had some great games this week. Already. I mean, you know, that Portugal game was a good game as well.
My favourite one was Ukraine-Holland, 3-2.
Back and forward. Yeah.
3-2. Yeah, Holland obviously 2-0 up. Ukraine back to 2-2, and then
that would have
late
been
winner for Holland.
And then we've picked the first game that we've gone live on. It's 0-0.
Yeah, but it is England. It is England, isn't it? And you've really got to sort of ask yourself a question. We were talking about Grealish a lot before half time. When does he make this next change? Because, you know, we're coming up to, I think we're about a minute behind, but I think we're coming up to sort of 70, 72, 73 minutes. And still no changes. I mean, you can't leave it until like 80 minutes, can you?
I think if they don't make the later the later they leave this, just shows how
They're settling.
they're fine with a draw. You know, they're not bothered.
Which is very strange, to be honest. It's very, very.
Well,
strange.
you think you'd bring on some fresh legs.
There we go, Sterling.
Chance offside.
The offside, yeah, of course he is. Of course he is.
Brilliant.
He always seems to
Fantastic.
get caught offside, Sterling. One of my flatmates is a City fan, and he used to shout quite a lot about Sterling being caught offside. Always. Ridiculous, man. And there's just no energy at the moment. There really just seems to just be a lack of real, spark, something.
Rashford looks
like he's going to be coming on. Again, I don't know.
I think that could be.
I'd rather have Sancho if I'm being honest, but
I think it. I'm happy with that though.
At least it's a change.
Yeah. Well, precisely.
We could end up with him not making any changes at all, and we end up in the same position we were in the first half, which is just But that's the thing that I'm really, really surprised at the lack of energy in this game. I know maybe players have been through long seasons, and that could maybe be taking a toll.
Yeah.
Players like Grealish were out injured for 3 months. So I don't know. It is a strange one. He's got big calves though, hasn't he, Jack Grealish? He's got massive calves. I wish I had calves like that. Did you see that conversation that he had about the encyclopedias with that reporter? Jack Grealish.
Oh, yeah. That's a funny clip. He's like, a what?
An encyclopedia?
An encyclopedia? A what?
What's that? Yeah, it's a good thing he's a footballer.
It's funny how, she explained it straight away. She knew he
It's
just
so
hadn't a clue.
patronising as well. It's a book where
It's a book where they've got a definition of everything.
And he was just taking it like a lesson.
Oh.
Sure! You sexy bugger. Almost scored an absolute worldie. That buzz trim has done him the world of good. Oh, we got
England fans looking nervy in the crowd.
Depressed. Oh, who's Rashford going to replace, do you reckon? Sterling? Probably Kane, isn't it?
I'd take Kane off, but will Southgate is the question.
Oh, he has. It's Kane.
There we go.
What a shout. Well, we got one right.
There we go. It's the knowledge, football knowledge.
We are right for one of them.
Yeah.
That's a surprise. The captain.
To be fair, he took him off in that first game.
He has not
didn't
really
he, as well?
done much. I'll be honest with you. Kane has definitely gone missing in this one. He will be scrutinised. I know, because I know straight away on Twitter, people are going to get on his back. Straight away, I know. Kane, people are going to be criticising him.
Who's that? Is that David Beckham in the crowd?
Yeah, wearing his mask. Good boy. He's always a role model. Oh, Rice. I guess now at least we have a bit more pace up front. I think that's probably what.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they've gone for there.
Yeah,
they've gone for.
We did say we needed a bit more energy.
Well, let's hope that we see that. Let's hope we see that from Rashford.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments in this game where you feel like we maybe could have tried to turn the screw a little bit more. It's just a bit frustrating, really. Let's go to Neve again, just to sort of garner the reaction online. In terms of the England perspective, what are people saying in terms of the style of play, the substitutions so far?
What the? Oh my God! Coming into the last 15.
Well, substitutions were definitely needed, and it's clear by everyone's reaction here. People are calling for Bellingham to come on and giving out a lot about Rice here, saying that he can't control a midfield and can't line break with a pass. So, and I mean, David Beckham's just taken over Twitter as well, saying there's no reason he could go and grab his shorts, but I don't think that's happening.
I mean, I'm sure we could probably do a similar job in there, to be fair. If it was just passing the ball around for 90 minutes, I think I could slot quite nicely into that England back line. It's certainly a frustrating watch again, which is, we've said that so many times about England, but yeah, it is really just annoying. to be honest. But Scotland coming forward here.
Scotland
again,
with a chance.
But again, you know, we're defending fairly well. I'm actually, you know, pretty impressed with the way that we've defended so far. Scotland still retaining possession though. This is dangerous. Tierney. Oh, Robertson, sorry. Another good ball. It's flicked on. Oh my God. Oh my God, Che Adams again.
Getting a bit nervy here.
That's two
I'm not a fan of
shots
this.
Che Adams
I'm not a
has
fan
had.
of this at all.
2 shots Che Adams has had now that have gone just wide. Jesus. Flicked on. I think that's actually hit off Stones. And it's come through to Che Adams and he's absolutely scuffed it. That's a shocking finish, that. That's awful. You've got to get your laces through. What a chance that is for Scotland. They've had some big chances. That one cleared off the line as well. If you talk about big chances, it's both teams have not really had too much, but they've probably had one each. You know, we had the header against the post, and then they had their header cleared off the line.
Strong on the ball, Sterling there.
Sterling holds the ball well.
Come on,
He's
come
not
on,
really
create a
got
chance.
anyone
Come
to
on.
pass it to, and he falls over.
God, don't
Sterling.
dive on the floor.
Oh man. That's one thing that does get on my nerves with Sterling is he does have a tendency to dive. I mean, that's just shocking.
It's like there you've got a chance
No,
to
that's
create something,
shocking.
but he goes for the penalty,
Poor.
and it's just like
That is poor.
he's made absolutely nothing with it.
That's really
He's not even
poor.
tried. He's not even tried.
That's really poor. I mean, to be fair, Robertson's made contact with him, but you know they're looking at it on VAR and they haven't given it. So
Yeah.
And to be fair, I did want to touch about VAR. I know there's a controversial penalty today in the Croatia-Czech Republic game, but the standard of officiating has actually been really good.
A lot of people have been saying that it's been a very effective use of VAR in the game, and that the Premier League could, you know, learn from.
Take a few notes. Yeah. I mean, having said that, you know, it was Anthony Taylor that was referee in the game that Ericsson, unfortunately, had to, you know, be taken to hospital with. It was him that stopped the game very quickly. So
yeah, it was good.
You know, a good
I mean,
call
when you saw
from
him go down like that, and then they signalled. I think it was, you know, I think they knew something wasn't right. But yeah, I think the standard of officiating's been quite good, and a lot of people saying VAR, it's been like good because it's been there, but it's not been intrusive or kind of, you know, ruining, not ruining the game or kind of getting in the way. It's just been there when you need it, as opposed to, you know, those sometimes quite bizarre VAR checks for offside and stuff like that.
Scotland are definitely coming forward a lot more now.
They are. They're pushing onto the front foot here.
They're getting some good runners in the box.
Again out wide.
Robertson deflected,
deflection,
and Pickford catches it. I don't like this at all. Really is. I mean, this style of football is making me sick. Making me cough. Pure disappointment.
Scotland now with more attempts than England.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And that's the thing, really. I guess, you know, Scotland counter-attacking every time they attack.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to go for that one chance. Rashford on the ball now. Just forced out wide. Again, that's my problem with Rashford. He's not a centre forward. Like, you're fair enough to take him off for Kane because Kane hasn't been very good, but for me, Rashford's a player that comes in off the left, not someone who plays as a lone striker. Again, there's a lot of players in midfield. I tell you what, the midfield's quite bunched up at the moment, but again, England struggling to break through. Rashford. Again, broken down. Let's go to Neve again. Let's get your personal opinion on
Scotland on the break here.
Neve, let's get your personal opinion.
Calvin Phillips with a late tackle.
What do you think about the last 10 minutes?
Well, not much has changed really. Everyone's given out about Kane, saying he's better off the wet floor line up front, where some people are saying not to blame him and that is all down to management. It's been a poor game, I have to say. It's kind of disappointing. Scotland are kind of ahead in my opinion, but otherwise it's not the best.
Yeah, no,
not the best
agree
is definitely
not
the
the
way
best
I would describe
is
it.
the perfect
I
way
agree
to
with you on
describe
that
it.
one.
Yeah, I think that's the big debate now. You know, I said that to you earlier. People are going to blame Kane. I do think that it comes down to system. If you look at how well Kane has performed at Spurs this season, you've got to ask questions of the manager why he's not getting the same sort of levels of performances out of him with better players around him. I know that he's got Son at Spurs, but England have got a better team than Spurs have. So you've got to ask the questions as to why it's not working out with England, and that's always been the case, really. I think when you have a bang average manager who's managing very good players, he's not going to be able to get the best out of them. I still don't think he knows his best team, which is always a problem coming into a tournament. You know, we've had this problem so many times with managers not knowing their best team. You know, who do we start? Do we start Sancho? Do we start Grealish? Do we start Foden, Mount? How do they fit into the system? I mean, I said earlier, you've got to bring Sancho on now, surely. Sterling looks a little bit gassed out. He's playing most of the game. Surely you've got to bring someone on with a bit of pace.
Yeah, I think we need some. It's into that sort of late winner territory, isn't it now? Last 10 minutes or so.
Come on!
Scotland on the break again.
Scotland
Calvin
breaking
Phillips
again.
tracking back
Armstrong,
very well.
energetic midfielder. He's a decent player, Armstrong, to be fair. But again, England are just not really doing much. It's a frustrating thing to. I mean, it's frustrating for us as well because we've got to try and make it entertaining, but it is very repetitive game so far. Of us getting the ball,
I think this does possibly
add
to your argument that we don't make it past the round of 16 of the quarterfinals, because there's no way we should be kind of matching and drawn even against Scotland and Croatia on paper. And I think that just shows that perhaps the squad is not. We're not firing on all cylinders, are we? We're just
no.
We're not creating enough actual chances.
It will be 2 clean sheets, which is fair enough, because I said I didn't see England keeping a clean sheet today, so they've proven me wrong in that sense. But
well,
at the same time,
curse here.
At the same time, I don't know.
Yeah.
We've had. To be honest, we're gonna always have these problems. I don't know how.
I tell you, I'm glad this is a group game and that it's not going to extra time, because I don't know what else I'd be able to say during extra time, because the quality of football we've seen today hasn't been fantastic.
Yeah, no, it hasn't.
It's been very evenly matched. Who is that? He's clattered him.
He did his best to recreate what that Scotland fan was doing at Leicester Square when
he ran
slid
through
on his stomach.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great result for Scotland.
Who was that?
For England, not so much. I still
him.
think even after this result, I think I would still be confident in England going through. I can't, touch wood, really see us, or touch plastic wood,
Scotland
see us losing to the Czech Republic. If we do lose to the Czech Republic, that will be... Oh, God. I don't even want to think about the online reaction. I think the thing is, when England lose, none of the blame is pointed at the players, or most of the blame isn't pointed at the players, it's pointed at Southgate.
Shay Adams going off for Scotland. He's had some good shots.
Kevin Nisbet. Interesting name. Isn't that what Buzz Lightyear calls himself when he's like depressed in the first Toy Story? Mrs. Nesbit. He's there drinking like tea or something because he's lost his arm. Oh, what a throwback, eh? What's your favourite childhood film? Like, what's the most nostalgic film for you?
It's more interesting in this game. Favourite childhood film? I quite like Up.
Oh, yes.
But it is sad.
That is a good film. Neve, what about you? What's your favourite childhood film? Let's bring Neve in.
It has to be Annie.
Annie, okay. Bit of musical. Are you a big fan of musicals?
A wee bit, like, not massive. I just was a massive Annie fan. I used to call my nana Mrs. Hannigan, which I was never impressed with.
Oh, that's good, that, to be fair. Do you know what? I've never seen Annie. I've seen Oliver Twist. I haven't seen Annie. I don't know that, musicals, I don't know. That's why I'm not massively a big fan of some Disney movies, because they always have songs in them and I just find it really weird.
Yeah.
Like if you were walking in the middle of a forest, like sad, you wouldn't just start singing a song about how sad you are, do you know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know.
You would if you're in a Disney film.
It gives me second-hand embarrassment a little bit. I would definitely
me
say
second-hand embarrassment being an
Emperor's New
England fan
Groove.
right
I
now.
don't know if anyone's ever seen Emperor's New Groove.
Oh,
It's a very decent
is that
film.
Grealish?
It's like one of the more like underrated Disney films that I don't think a lot of people have actually heard of it before. Toy Story, obviously. I'm trying to think of others.
Cars.
Dinosaurs.
Cars is a good film. Cars. Fan
Cars.
of Cars or not?
I don't
I
know
agree.
actually. I never really got into the Cars.
Someone's saying in my ear, Cars 2 is the best movie. And I agree, it's the better one.
Not as good as Cars 3.
No,
Cars
Cars 3.
4.
Cars 3 didn't hit the spot. Cars 2 was the one.
They should make a Cars 4 where it's like Top Gear. Yeah, and it's like other cars talking about the other cars. Harry Potter. Did anyone watch Harry Potter here?
Nope.
We got cameramen pointing hands up in the background.
Watched about 30.
We got a couple of people in the gallery saying that they love Harry Potter as well. Neve, what about did you watch much Harry Potter?
Keeping you on your
seen
toes
it.
here.
You've never seen.
No, I've only seen about 30 minutes.
Send her back studio. She's never seen Harry Potter. Send her back. Let's get her off screen. Unbelievable. Actually, you as well.
Yeah, I'll go as well if you want.
Yeah, I can't believe. Star Wars.
Yeah, I do like Star Wars.
Neve, Star Wars.
Never.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen
One
Lord
of
the
them.
Rings.
I've not seen
filmed
Lord of
near
the
me,
Rings.
What was that, Neve? Sorry. Gallery. Shush.
One of the Star Wars was filmed near me
Was
in
it? Which one?
Malin I don't know which
This
one.
has
I
turned
just know
from a
one of them.
watch-along to like
Oh.
50 questions with Neve.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
a
like
buzz round.
rapid fire bonus round.
What's your favourite colour?
Oh, don't get me started.
Blue.
Blue.
Blue. It's got to be gold for me.
Yeah.
Old gold.
Gold. That's.
You should. Yeah, you should look. I was going to say, yeah, Neve, you should be loving Matt's kit at the moment.
Yep. Newcastle
Yeah,
United.
definitely.
Yeah, the badge kind of ruins it, and the sponsor.
The
as well,
Mighty
actually.
Magpies.
Tsunami. Oh God. Don't start. Don't start. Atrocious. Yeah, obviously. Are you from? You're not from Newcastle, are you?
No, I'm from Leeds, but my dad's from Newcastle.
Oh,
so.
is it? Oh, well, okay, well that's
Family,
fair enough. Yeah, that's
family.
fair enough. It's a very random team to support. Like, if you're going to
Yeah,
support a
it's
team
not
that's
really
not
a
in your
glory
local
supporter,
area,
is it,
surely
really?
you would
There's
support,
not-
like Man United or something,
Yeah.
you know, like an actual half-decent team. I remember some of our Wolves fans got accused of being glory hunters because we finished 7th for a couple of seasons. Yeah, you think being a Wolves fan is a glory hunter?
Oh,
Got relegated twice
dear
in a
me.
row.
Gareth Southgate there giving the relax. He's happy with this.
Come
he's happy
on,
with this.
last minute
No, he's
winner.
happy with this.
Last minute.
He's not
yeah,
gonna do
Southgate.
anything.
That's a sad thing. That's a sad thing about this. Is that Southgate will be sitting there.
I think he gave
And
up
he'll
in
be
about.
like, oh,
I
this
think he
is
gave
a
up
good
at half
result.
time and
Yeah,
he thought
no,
no
it's-
chance.
I'm depressed.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
I'm
No.
not happy. I'm not happy. This is the least happy
Again,
I've been in
look,
24
right,
hours.
if we were to pause that there, let's have a look. There's 4 England players.
Look at
and there's 8
who's on
Scotland
the far
players.
side. Oh my God! Come
Pass it
on,
around the back.
please, give me something to cheer.
Plus 2 minutes extra time. Grealish on the ball.
Come on.
Coming down to the last 2 minutes here. England starting to. This is what we needed. A bit alive. Mason Mount, is that?
Go on.
Ah!
Go on. Oh, it's a goal, man. Scrap.
Oh,
What's
it's a
going
scrap!
on?
It's a scrap!
Punch him.
Ah!
Oh.
Ah! Oh my God!
I hate life. We're not England fans. Just aren't built to be happy.
Time off! Time off! Time
I
off!
hate
Pause! Take the
Scotland.
pause. Can they stop the clock? Do they do that in football?
No. What do you mean? Do they do that in football? Bloody Northerners and their rugby. Oh, McGinn, you're such a weird man.
Oh, God's sake! That is.
Look at
Oh, that's
McTominay
a
there.
handball. That ref.
Look at McTominay there.
Referee, it's a handball.
That's shocking.
VAR. VAR. Oh, God's sake! That's it. That's.
I told you. I told
all
you
she wrote.
England are coming home at the round of 16. That's the only thing that's coming home. Oh, hello. Sorry, I just seen a decent looking Scottish one. I didn't realise they existed. Sorry to all the Scots out there. I don't care.
I think we've just been taken off air now.
Yeah. Right, that is full time. Full time, and 0-0. Neve, let's cut to you because
Quickly.
you got this prediction absolutely spot on. How do you feel?
I'm so proud of myself, so I am. I'm absolutely delighted. So, am I going to Miami now, or what is the plan?
Yeah, well, we'll get you the plane tickets to Miami. You've deserved it. You've put in a good shift. To be fair, I mean, I'm guessing the social media reaction is going to be similar to ours. There's a lot of straight face emojis, Southgate mudded, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, let's end on this. What do England need to do different?
Sack Southgate and.
Apart from that, let's not do that in the middle of a tournament.
Listen, FA, Antonio Conte, please. Let's stop hiring English managers. There are no good English managers, right? The only decent English manager at the moment is Steven Gerrard. So if you're going to hire an English manager, hire Steven Gerrard, okay? So the gallery are telling me Frank Lampard.
I think this tells you.
Very average
I think
as well.
I'll be honest. I think this shows everything here. The Scotland players celebrating like they've got a win. The Scotland fans going crazy because they got a draw. I mean, that just shows that they came here for that. And look at them, Scotland fans. I think we need to be more alive. We need a lot more energy. We need to be better up top.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Kane wasn't there for that game.
Good news is that we're probably still going to go through. I mean, we've got 4 points now. So big thank you to Live at the Quays. That's all we've got time for today, of course. Big thank you to Matt and a big thank you to Neve, who obviously isn't on the screen at the moment. Or Naomi, Naomi or Neve, whichever one you prefer. You can use either one in the comments below if there's actually anyone watching. So, thank you for joining us today. Of course, you can join us on Tuesday for the next game.
Indeed.
But until then, we will see you.
Thanks very much for Live at the Quays and Quays TV.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Studios are in as well.
Have a wonderful evening. We've got to shoot off, otherwise we'll be locked into the building forever, and I won't be able to have my chicken. So, see you all later.
See you next time.
Thanks so much, guys. Feels so weird not being there. Fingers crossed. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.